Hello, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. And today we're going to be talking about the games that we played in the year of 2020. A bad year for humanity, a great year for gaming, I think.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Ken, I know you played a lot of good games this year. Not all the games you played this year came out this year.
That's true.
No trouble, no problem. And I think the first game you want to talk about is a little game called Doom Eternal.
Yes, I really do like that little game. It was a pretty good little game this year.
Little indie game.
Small indie game by this small little publisher, Bethesda. Not sure if you've heard of them.
Nah.
Yeah, never heard of those guys. I played that this year. It was one of the earliest games I played in 2020. A very long year. Kind of feels like that game came out last year already.
Oh yeah, man, trust me. Like this year is like January, February, March, whatever, fucking December. Like,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
When do we go? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's pretty good. Like, it's crazy. It's already been like 9 months since that game came out. I just keep forgetting. It's like, oh yeah, it did come out in 2020. But yeah, I like Doom Eternal was probably one of the games that came out this year, but in particular that I played the most. I played through the game like 3 times. I loved the ever living hell out of it. Thought it was really good. There are a few little issues I'll get into later, but I kind of just want to gush about it.
Sure, work away.
Yeah. I played Doom 2016 as well. About like a month after it came out originally. And I had really low expectations for it. Didn't really think it was going to be that good, especially because they had like this multiplayer beta. Kind of sucked. Didn't think it was very good. But then it came out and kind of shocked me. It was like genuinely one of the most surprising games this generation, I think, in terms of like how good it actually turned out. And somehow, I think Doom Eternal is honestly even better. It's just like the action, like the gore, the music, like everything comes together in like such like a really perfect way, like such a pure like chaotic energy to it that's like really just really well put together.
We're really fucking like badass,
Yeah, like you feel sick while you're playing. Like the I know it's weird to say about a video game, maybe kind of cringy to say it, like, but I can't, like, I had such a big dumb grin on my face while playing that game. It was such a blast. I had such a good time with it. Like, I'm not really too invested in, like, I'm not sure how many people are. I'm sure there's some people, but I wouldn't really say I'm too invested in, like, the lore of Doom Eternal. Like, I hear that, if you do kind of take your time, read, like, codex and stuff, it can be interesting, but, man, I just really like Blast and Demons. It's just a lot of fun,
that's like Doom at its core, really, like,
Yeah, exactly. And like kind of just like the just all the weapons feel absolutely great. Like the new like super shotgun in the game, like the grapple is genuinely one of like the sickest guns in a game.
The fucking meat hook is class. Yeah, I love that.
It's so cool. Like, honestly, I just like the kind of like the just like how acrobatic it is, like, and like how much you can like swing around enemies and shit. Like you genuinely, it's like Spider-Man in like a fucking FPS game. It's crazy. Like I just the first time I got that, I was like legitimately wowed. I was like, man, this is absolutely incredible. Like, this is so sick. And just like when you add in like the score by Mick Gordon and like just like all of the difficulty like of the game, like it's very, very intense. Like I will say, like, the more you play it, the more you get used to it. But like that first playthrough was genuinely like incredibly intense. Like,
what did you play it on?
I played it on Ultraviolence, so that'd be what, like the third, like the. I think it's the hardest difficulty you can pick at the start. I can't remember. I don't remember if Nightmare is like actually available from the beginning.
Is there like an Ultra Nightmare as well in the game?
Correct.
There might be. Like it's. I haven't played the game in a few months. It's been a little while. I generally like to pick like a hard difficulty, like not the hardest, but I always find, like, for a first playthrough, like the first hard, like the one that's not like very hard or like ultra hard, just the one that's hard. I find that
base hard, yeah.
Base hard difficulty, that usually is like right from the first playthrough, generally, anyways. And yeah, I had a blast with Doom Eternal in that sense. Like, you know, you really have to be on your toes. Like some of the levels, especially towards the end, are absolutely crazy. Like the final level is just like wave after wave after wave of like tons of enemies coming after you.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, but a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's also like a surprisingly long game. Like even on my first playthrough, you know, for an FPS, like Doom Eternal took me about like a bit over 15 hours, which, you know, is a pretty reasonable length for an FPS these days. Like I can't think of too many that run that long these days. So you definitely, you know, even if it is full price, I feel like you do get your money's worth, especially since it is very replayable.
Yeah, I think the game like oozes quality from like top to bottom. Like no matter what you do in the game, like it's quality. Like, you know, the music is like second to none. Even with the whole like Mick Gordon drama that happened.
Of course, yeah.
And he didn't like fully like master the entire score. The score is still really good, really good.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. Like it's like one of those things where like even listening to it outside of the game, it's like, man, this is it still gets the blood pumping, you know.
It does.
Very adrenaline fuel. Like I still personally, I think it should have been the one to win at like say like the Game Awards.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree.
Not that we're like getting into that, but you know, not that like Final Fantasy doesn't deserve it. I'm sure it has a great score as well. It's just I can't think of any game that like I just don't know if like the game would be the same without it. It's like it's just so like integral to like the kind of the core of the game. Like just the way everything comes together. I don't think it'd be the same without that score.
It's hard to like for me. Like you can take like, let's say for like Final Fantasy 7, by the way, I haven't played the game, but like I'm just saying, for example, like you could probably take the music out of the game and lose an aspect, but you still play the game, enjoy the game. For Doom, like if you take the music out of Doom, like the game feels a lot lesser.
I mean, the gunplay is still incredibly good, but
like you want that music to back it up, though. Of
course, it really adds to the experience.
Really, yeah.
And I don't want to speak like that's the thing. I feel like it should have won, but then again, I don't want to speak for Final Fantasy because I haven't played that.
Yes,
it's on my playlist. I'm hoping maybe sometime next year I'll get around to it.
I do hear that like it has an incredible score. So
yeah, exactly. And Square Enix games generally have very good music. Yeah. I'll talk about one later actually. So it's you know, just really good. Just really good score all around.
What was your like least favorite aspect of Doom Eternal?
I have some qualms with a few things. Like I'm not sure how I feel about the visual style of the game. Like the way they changed some of the demons into looking maybe a little like more exaggerated. Like they look a little more, I don't want to say cartoony, but like they're very. Some of them can look a little over the top when you're killing them. Like some of like the facial animations. And I think some demons like the Revenant, for example, I thought got a real downgrade in like visual kind of like just in like, you know, how menacing and like cool they looked before. Like and I know like, you know, again it's like the whole thing of like you're the Doomslayer, they're scared of you more than you're scared of them, but it was still cool to have like you know like demon designs that you can be like, damn, that looks pretty like intimidating. Like I did not want to take that on. Like.
They're fucking like demon spawn. They're not supposed to look like cartoony, like.
Exactly, and I feel like some of the demon designs, like the Revenant and like the Mancubus, like the Mancubus just kind of looks like a big dopey fat cunt, like. So it's just kind of I don't know. It's a little it's weird. Like it's a weird change. I'm not sure how I feel about it. The game generally looks gorgeous, but it looks really good and it performs excellently on PC. Like really good. Probably one of the best optimized games of the years of the year. You know, just really good overall. So, but that's like one thing I had a qualm with. I will say, I personally didn't mind the platforming, but I did feel like sometimes you could lose like extra lives from just kind of seemingly like, I don't know, it's just like a weird. Maybe like you might get stuck in like a weird area, like a weird you might get like a weird camera angle or like get stuck on like some piece of geometry and like you can't get out, and you might get like, you know, fucking shit on by some demon or whatever. Like maybe, you know, it happened to me a few times where I kind of would like lose a life and I'd be like, that's a bit weird. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it's not a huge like deal breaker. The platforming, like I did generally enjoy it as well, but sometimes it could maybe like drag on slightly. Especially like in like the Khan Maker world level where you had like those like bouncing like telepad things. I was like that kind of dragged on a little bit. I didn't mind it, but you know, towards the end it was like, yeah, this is kind of go on for a bit. But
and the platforming for me is like probably my like biggest complaint with the game.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It wasn't like super janky, but it wasn't like super smooth either.
I liked things like the way they had like little like say they might have like little poles sticking out of like walls and stuff. So like say you'd swing off it and you'd be like swinging around enemies and stuff. Like, and with the meat hook from the super shotgun, like there was a real like great like kinetic energy to that. Like you really felt like you were just kind of like swinging around, and you know, you had like tons of mobility and it felt great. But the you know, the yeah, some of like the pure platforming stuff I wasn't big on. I
feel like once, once everything clicked together, like I could really see what they were going for.
Yeah, exactly.
But like too many times for me, I was platforming and like I tried to catch onto a ledge and I just wouldn't catch onto it, or I'd fall off stupidly, be it of my own accord, off, you know, maybe the game. Yeah. Shit like that would kind of, I wouldn't get frustrated, but like, oh man, I could do less of this in my Doom, like.
Yeah, of course. I found that I also found the worst. I think the worst part of the game was anytime they had that fucking purple slime shit, whatever the hell that was. I have no idea what they were trying to do with that. Where like it just completely slows your mobility. You can't jump. You can't do anything. It just sucks. It's bad. Like those are the worst parts of the game. I think. Because
like Doom, you're supposed to be like, you know, fast, like.
Mobile, yeah. So it was like, it feels like it goes against everything the game was designed to be. And I understand like wanting to maybe like, you know, change up the pace of the game a bit maybe, and it's like, yeah, that's fair enough, but don't do like this. This just sucks. You know, even when I first like played the game, I was like, yeah, this is not fun. I don't know what they're going for here.
What did you think of the final boss? Spoilers. Before talking about spoilers.
Yeah, I will say another, you know, obviously kind of makes it clear what I thought, but I will say another weakness of Doom Eternal probably was the boss fights. I didn't really feel like they were, you know, particularly strong. I didn't mind the one against Khan Maker. I thought that would have actually been a fairly alright boss fight. I get with the icon of, you know, Sin. That you know, they were going for like more of like a big brutish kind of like, you know, just they went for like the sheer size of like the demon you were fighting, like as opposed to like, I don't know, like fighting, or I don't know, it doesn't feel like you were really like fighting it as much as it was you were just fighting enemies until like you might get the chance to like shoot like at a little weak spot or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, I am going to run around and kill normal enemies, so like I get to shoot a bit off his fucking like torso or something.
Exactly, because his attacks generally like were, you know, pretty easy to avoid. Like he's not a particularly tough fight. It's just the enemies around it, and it's just, I don't know. It was a weak fight. I didn't think it was a, and the game ends like very very abruptly. I was kind of like, damn, this that's it. Like it's just kind of over just like that.
The guy just walks away. Like cool.
He just walks away and is like, oh, you know, like you have the fucking narration voiceover kind of just saying like, oh, he is the Doomslayer, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, it just, I don't know. It was kind of a weekend. I was expecting something a bit more climactic. Now maybe that's in like going to be in Ancient Gods. I have no idea. I'm waiting till part 2 to kind of dive into that, but you know, hopefully that's good. I hope that's fun. I've heard some people saying that like part 1 is apparently very tough, but you know, it might be one of those things where it's tough, but when you kind of understand how to take things on, it gets a bit easier, just like the game itself. Like you know, the way everybody hated the well, not everybody of course, but you know, tons of people were having tons of like trouble with the oh god, what are they called again? The Marauders.
Marauders.
Yeah, the Marauders. You know, but once you kind of know how they work, you kind of know how they work. But you know, I hear in the DLC, like for example, they throw 2 at you, and maybe before I would have been like, oh no, but now I'm just kind of like, yeah, bring it on. I'm up for it. Like,
an interesting point I want to make is that you said you played the game 3 times.
Yes.
And I played the game once, and I had no like real desire to go back and play through the game again. I wonder why that is. I haven't really thought about it. Same with Doom 2016. I played it once, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. You know?
That's totally fair.
I can't really put my finger on why I don't want to like go back and play Doom, even though I had like a ton of fun with it. Like,
I'm gonna guess that it's just you kind of have your fill by the end. Like you're doing the same thing for 10, 15 hours, and you either love that loop, like you either love that kind of gameplay and just want to keep going back, or like I could see myself playing Doom Eternal a 4th time, no issue. But you know, it's like you either want to play it or you don't, like, and or at least keep playing it. And you know, I assume it's just you got burned out, didn't really feel like coming back to it.
I'll definitely play like Ancient Gods 1 and 2.
Yeah, because it's new content, like you've not experienced that before.
Yeah. But like, I guess besides that point, I did really like Doom Eternal this year. It was a good opener for the year, I think. Like, I think.
God damn it, like.
What was that?
You fucking kidding me?
What happened? Games fall?
Yeah, some games fell. Sorry for the interruption there. I had a little oopsie whoopsie, little fucky wucky in the background. So, back to what we were talking about on Doom Eternal.
Our like closing thoughts is the next thing I want to bring up. For me, it was a good way to like start the year. It was the first kind of new game of 2020 that I bought. Well, I bought that and I bought Animal Crossing on the same day.
Same.
Those games seem to have like intertwined like the fucking fan bases, which is I think amazing to see. Like, it's really funny to see.
It was cool, yeah. Although it was one of those things where it was really cool to see. But you know, like anything, it was like, man, you know, gets a little old after a while. But it was really cool at the start, though.
It was like 2 like complete polar opposites, like, you know, coming together. Like, I found like this the like idea of like Isabel from Animal Crossing and fucking
Doom,
killing demons is hilarious to me.
While the Doom Slayer might be like picking flowers and like nurturing his household and everything, talking to the villagers,
being really wholesome.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Doom Eternal, great game for me. I will play it again probably in the near future, especially playing that DLC. Like that came out.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Even if there's, I hear there's a little contention, but overall, yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I thought it is absolutely one of my favorite games this year. And definitely, like, to be fair, there were a lot of 2020 like heavy hitters I have not played yet, just because I had other stuff I wanted to get to. Got a big ass backlog, like, you know, I didn't play. Haven't played Tsushima or Final Fantasy or any of that, but Doom Eternal I think was probably my favorite, just pure 2020 release. I think if I had to look back on what I played from this year, so starting kind of at the strongest for me, I suppose, in terms of just pure 2020 games. But yeah, I really loved it. Have a couple issues, but I would absolutely play it again, no issues.
Sweet. Moving on, and I want to talk about a little game called Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I have some thoughts.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have thoughts on that one.
Came out in November or October.
It's kind of the fact that, like, oh man, when did that game that came out like a month or 2 ago come out? It came out in November. It was about the exact same time as Series X PS5. I think that same day as or the day after PS5, I believe.
I think the fact that I don't remember when it came out kind of says a lot. Like,
yeah.
That like for me, the Black Ops series is the best of Call of Duty. Maybe not Black Ops 4. Like Black Ops 1, 2, and 3 are stellar.
I only have a decent amount of it. Sorry, I shouldn't be.
No.
I was just gonna say I only have a decent amount of experience with Black Ops 3. That was the only one I kind of played a nice bit of, and I really enjoyed the multiplayer. Campaign was a load of baloney, like just no idea what the hell was going on. But the multiplayer was fun.
For Cold War, I went into like pretty excited because I do like Treyarch's games, and I liked Modern Warfare. I didn't love Modern Warfare. I didn't really play like the campaign that much. The like Spec Ops part was like whatever. MP was pretty fun. Warzone was fun, but I did not play that a ton. So coming to Black Ops Cold War, I was pretty interested to see what like it's going to be like. You know, it's going to be just a like carbon copy of Modern Warfare, or like its own thing, because there was rumors and like I think talks of like Warzone is coming to Black Ops Cold War, and they're trying to make the two games kind of streamline into each other.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And I was like, okay, cool. So game comes out. Not a lot of content.
Not at all. Yeah, I haven't really. Almost.
I haven't really. No, this is just really multiplayer. I haven't really touched campaign, so I can't really speak on that. But again, I don't think a lot of people even play the campaigns.
That's true. I mean, I haven't touched the Cold War campaign yet.
I'm a pretty big Zombies fan. We'll get to Zombies in a few minutes. But the multiplayer, the like bread and butter of Call of Duty, major disappointment this year.
That's very true. Yeah.
Season 1 just came out. I haven't played a game yet, but up until like Season 1, the lack of content is staggering. Like 5 assault rifles, 5 SMGs, 2 shotguns, 3 pistols, 1 melee weapon, and 2 launchers. Ridiculous. It's not. I don't think it's acceptable at all for a Call of Duty game to lack that much. And the maps, like 8 maps was there?
Yeah, it was like 8. At launch, at least.
At launch, and 2 of those maps were used in some other mode, and they just did not work in multiplayer because they were like supposed to be bigger maps that was then cut down to be a multiplayer map. So like 6v6 combat does not work well in those maps because it's not designed to work well in those maps.
Exactly.
It's a big problem. Like it's just like. I know, like, Sledgehammer were supposed to, like, make this year's Call of Duty, and for whatever reason...
Didn't work
out, and they had to fucking say, yo, Treyarch, it's you this time, bro. And they were like, oh sick. This was...
How long do we have to make it? A couple
of weeks? About a week. A couple of weeks, yeah. So they just, like, threw it together.
I hear the campaign is like actually pretty good. I just haven't taken the time to play it really. You had a little bit of time with it, right?
Yeah, I think it was a cool concept. Like being a fucking spy is really sick. And like there seemed to be like not a lot to do, but a lot to do for like Call of Duty standards. Like
that's true. Yeah.
Call of Duty is just like go from A to B and kill the bad guys, it's not very like
yeah, if we're going by like say like maybe like Modern Warfare or like even like early Black Ops or whatever, like they definitely tried to change things with like the futuristic CODs a bit, but I don't know if that was something.
To be fair to Treyarch, they do like try different stuff in their campaigns.
I mean, you can definitely say that about Black Ops 3 for better or for worse. Like, I would say for worse.
In Black Ops 2, there was like choice in your campaign. That's true. Which is pretty cool. But yeah, multiplayer up until Season 1, and like Season 1 isn't going to just like magically make Black Ops Cold War. Like Modern Warfare had a fucking lot of content at the end of that game. To be fair, a lot of content, and Cold War, like going from I know like your new game isn't going to have as much content because again Modern Warfare had updates consistently.
That's true. Yeah, of course.
And Black Ops first updates, or just patches, fixing bugs stuff, and nerfed the MP5 by the way, which is like a ridiculously powerful gun at launch. And sure, like Season 1 got delayed, which kind of says a lot. Like
it really does.
I say they're like scrambling over a Treyarch to like get content out. But no, multiplayer is disappointing. Like you get the same like 3 or 4 maps over and over again. One map, Satellite, I despise.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Yeah, Satellite is not fun. Did not enjoy that. And like, look, I am no Call of Duty veteran. I have not played many of the games in terms of like multiplayer. I play a lot of the campaigns generally, but which I know it sounds like, man, really, but I don't know. That's kind of how I often play COD, and like playing the Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. I couldn't help but feel like, man, really probably should have just got like Modern Warfare. Since I hear that's at least a pretty good, pretty finished game. Kind of regret getting Cold War a little bit in terms of multiplayer, and just like the way the matchmaking works, just really sucks. Like the whole, I forget if it's like, I don't know if it's exactly skill based. It's like something to do with like your current performance in that match or something, and then they like match you with people based on that. It's like some really weird, bizarre, like.
You remember there was like a controversy, or like a quote unquote controversy about it, like about the like matchmaking system. So I'm not terribly sure. But yeah, no, disappointing. But Zombie is really good.
Zombies is a lot of fun. That was like
Zombies
the one.
Really good.
Yeah, that was like the one thing that kind of kept me playing the game a bit.
Yeah.
And if they add more zombie stuff, then I'll be down for playing the game more. Definitely did get a little tired of the one map, but it's a good map. I'm not gonna.
It's a good map, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't really play a lot of Black Ops 4 because it's like, first of all, its PC performance for me was like fucking really bad, so I just didn't bother. I had a ton of issues with that game's performance.
It's pretty horrendous.
And I hear like that the zombies experience is just lackluster.
Yeah.
And like coming off Black Ops 3, I had an amazing zombie experience. Like the maps were fantastic. Like,
I've heard good things about it. Yeah.
Cold War does change up some things.
It does.
I think for the better.
It's an interesting take, like on the zombies formula, and I feel like it mostly succeeds.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like is the fact that
the
going off the
characters, maybe.
Yeah, generic operators, like having Frank Woods there is just like, oh, his dialogue is cringy. Fuck you, assbag. Kind of generic American tough guy. I know that Tank Dempsey was that in Zombies for a long time, but I don't need a fucking other one like you.
It's bizarre they changed the voice actors, and like also like it's bizarre that it's bizarre like the way like like with Woods, for example, like it seems like he's a little like kind of like exaggerated, like Flanders, like he's just his whole character trait is just being like, yeah, just haha, fuck you, like fuck you in the asshole, like that's all he kind of is in the Cold War. He just feels like a caricature. Like the characters I hear in the campaign, that it's the new characters that apparently get more like development in the campaign. The old ones are just kind of there.
I can understand the reason, maybe to not have like Sam Worthington back, because he's probably like really busy doing Avatar.
Of course, yeah, they're making like 10
like,
so.
The dude that does like Frank Woods, like he wanted to play Woods again.
Exactly.
And they just got a guy to like sound like that guy, so like why not just get the original guy? Like
if it's because he's old, then like it doesn't matter. Like you could get someone. You could still get someone for the mocap, and then get your man's voice back to do.
Yeah, exactly. It makes no sense
for consistency's sake. If it's like supposed to be set between Black Ops 1 and 2, and then for some reason Woods just has like a different voice in the Cold War game, it's just kind of bizarre. I'm not really sure why they did that.
Like Mason's voice is like super noticeable. Woods is lesser noticeable to an extent.
Yeah, you can still tell what they're going for, but...
Yeah, but you can tell that it's not the same guy, like...
Of course, no.
But it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, like...
Of course, like the Call of Duty characters aren't, like, like the best written video games, but...
No.
It's just a weird omission, I guess. But...
Yeah, I guess weird is the best keyword to explain Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. It is weird.
It's
weird game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's where it's at and how it came out. But that zombies is real fun, I will say. They did a
real
very
fun.
good job at that. And
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they take it, like, because you're like, oh man, zombies is kind of like the same thing over and over again. But it's fresh.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
a
It
lot.
feels new.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on Cold War.
Mm.
I hope it gets better over time. I'm sure it will. But the thing about like Call of Duty is, do they get enough time to like, really flesh themselves out? Like,
That's very true. Yeah.
because before you know, like, oh, Call of Duty 45 is out. Like, and everyone
Similar
is like,
to
okay,
like,
this is the shit now.
I feel like Activision more than any other company is like, we have to put a Call of Duty out every year. I don't know why. It's not like they don't need them. Like it's not like they need the money. They want the money, sure, but it's not like they need it. You know, they can take a year out, and I feel like if they were to take a year out any year, this was it. And
Perfect time, yeah. Perfect time to do it, like.
and it would have saved having a really disappointing Call of Duty launch. Like, sure, it's not a terrible game. There's been worse Call of Duties, but it's just it's I would say personally, like, I think it's, in terms of multiplayer and zombies, like the two of them kind of come together to just make it kind of just a bit mediocre. The zombies is good, but the multiplayer is just really it doesn't hit the mark. I don't feel like I didn't feel like playing it. And once I had my fill of zombies, I uninstalled it. But if they add more, zombie stuff, I'll be back. And hopefully they can fix.
I will be down for more zombies. Ken, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think of a little game called Persona 3?
That game? I
That
hate
game,
that game.
a little small RPG game, only a couple hours long.
Yeah, what was it, like 112? Not much. few minutes, like I had it done in like 2 days. I know that doesn't add up, but don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
Yeah, little RPG game, little PS2 RPG. I finally decided to play that this year because I've been constantly kind of told to play the Persona series, and just seeing stuff about saying like how good it is, and I was like, 3 seems like a pretty good place to start. 1 and 2 might be a little, maybe a bit too archaic. I'm interested in playing 2, but we'll see. But 3 was the one I decided, yeah, we'll start here. I'll play this game. Let's just see what I think. And it took me about a month and a half to get through it. I had a lot of I had to kind of take breaks, come back to it a lot. It's just, I don't tend to play, I don't have that many big RPGs under my belt, so playing that was definitely a pretty meaty experience. I had to really set aside some time for it. But it was a really unique game. I'm definitely down to play the other Persona games. It's just, I kind of want to space them out. I don't feel like it's not the kind of series you can play back to back to back.
Yeah, God, yeah. If you play like 3, 4, and 5, like especially like 4 gold and 5 royal, God, that is like an obscene amount of content. Like,
exactly, obscene amount of time. I'm not even fully. Yeah. I'm talking about Persona 3. I'm not even fully done with it. I haven't played Answer yet, which is the. I play Persona 3 Fez in particular, which has an extra side story that I actually haven't played yet. Just because
oh wow,
I got so, I guess, burned out. Not because the game was bad. Just, again, I had 112 hours. It was not a quick game to get through. So I will play that. I might even try and get through it before the year's out. But that's like another 30, maybe 30-ish hour experience. So yeah, I gotta put aside some time for that one.
I mean, there's like one thing you cannot say about the Persona games is that, like, you can't say, oh, there's not enough content here.
Yeah.
A big lie is there's more than enough content in like each Persona game, honestly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Talking about Persona 3 in particular, which, I know you haven't played, Nathan, so I'll try my best not to...
5, the one everyone loves.
Yeah, I can't believe, man, I really hope that fictional country in the game, like fictional area, like Japan, like Shibuya, like, oh man, if they made that like a real place, that'd be crazy.
That'd be sick. That'd be sick.
I would actually go there. It'd be incredible. Just to be able to go to this place, like, I mean,
So many games rip off Persona's version of Japan. It's ridiculous. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like you play, that game World Ends With You. I was like, man, that's just such a Persona 5 ripoff.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Oh man, it's ridiculous.
The nerve of Square Enix to show that. I was just like, come on, like, you're clearly stealing from Persona 5. Persona 5 was the first game to actually feature Japan. Yeah, it was the first game ever, but it was also the first game to feature Japan. So, which, again, this fictional country, never heard of it.
Yeah.
If you're Japanese, I'm sorry. But I'm sorry, you don't exist. But yeah, I've been stalling long enough to talk about like Persona 3, like legit. Yeah, it's I imagine compared to 5, it's going to be it's a much more like archaic game in terms of like combat and mechanics. Like, say for example, you can't control in Fez, you can't control your party members directly. You kind of control them using like you can kind of command them like on what to do a little bit, like going like, oh, attack or defend, or like just set like some kind of a status, or just ask them to wait if you don't want them to do anything that particular turn. Yeah. But you can't control their actions directly, which for some that would probably be like, man, that's pretty weird in an RPG. Yeah, I really struggled with some bosses and things at times. Like, I know it's probably not like the hardest SMT game out there, but I really did have a hard time with some fights in that game on normal difficulty, just because, again, just first time kind of playing any like a game of that sort of like scale and size. So and that type of like RPG. So I'm not too big, not too well versed in turn-based RPG games.
A big question is for like each Persona game, how are the characters?
I like the Persona 3 cast. I think they're generally pretty good. They have pretty solid development throughout. I will say some characters are absolutely developed better than others. Some have, in my opinion, just better storylines and are more like interesting characters. But I like in general, I don't think there's a character I like heavily disliked. But there were one or two I was like, yeah, could have done with like less of them or something. But I really liked. There's a character in the game called Junpei. He has a pretty good arc throughout the game. He kind of learns to be a little more kind of, I guess, maybe I don't know if I want to say like humble, but like kind of like, I guess like just self-confident, like, and kind of just has a good arc over the game that I enjoyed. And same with.
What's your favorite character in the game?
He's probably like the most. I would say for me he's probably the most memorable. Maybe there's also this there's a robot in the game called Aegis. She also has a pretty good journey as a character. Like, and she's definitely towards the end of the game she gets quite a good amount of spotlight. So it's definitely. She's one that kind of sneaks up on you a little bit. You kind of, she's not around for like a little bit of the game. That's maybe a bit of a spoiler, but yeah, not a huge one. But you kind of get. She's one you come to like really appreciate, and I look forward to seeing where they go with her in like the answer. I like, those were probably my two favorites. There's quite a lot of like other characters in the game that I just don't, it's kind of hard for me to have as much to say about them, because again, I'm just not like, it's been a while since I played it. I played the game back in July, and as I said, I just got like, I was doing like 10-hour sessions, which I probably wouldn't really recommend. That's not really a good way to be playing games,
Yeah.
Because you just get burned out, and eventually like you kind of start to some of the story beats kind of were going over my head a little bit, because it was just I would have been kind of so like, oh man, like I'm absolutely drained.
It became all one kind of big blur.
Yeah, exactly. But there were things I really did come to appreciate, and you know, like they're. I think every character is a pretty good arc. In terms of like, then in terms of kind of like things like audio and visual presentation, I think, you know, the game's obviously dated, but it has charm. I think, and it's, you know, kind of the kind of like character models and like the world is like, you get very it's small, but like you really come to kind of like know all the places and like really appreciate kind of like the little kind of like the all little social links in the game. Like there's some really good ones. Like there's one with this guy at a park on a bench that's actually pretty emotional. Like it's a really good kind of story that I think you really have to experience for yourself when you play the game. It's a very kind of memorable social link of the game, like interaction. So you know, I remember that was a really good one in terms of, you know, characters you were interacting with and stuff.
Do you think that Persona 3 is a good, might sound like a stupid question, but you think Persona 3 is a good like jumping in point? Or would you say like maybe try 5? Seems a lot more like accessible, and
5 is certainly
I wouldn't
more accessible.
Casual.
Yeah, it certainly seems more accessible. I can't say from, you know, someone who hasn't played it yet currently. Maybe that makes me a Persona 5 fan. You know, I didn't play the game, but I think that I think 5 is like probably a good starting off point, absolutely. But 3, I think as well, while it's definitely a tougher game to kind of get into, like in terms of like, and I'm sure there's some people that probably didn't struggle with it at all. Like it's just for me, I just haven't played that many RPGs, so, and the fact that the game is so long, I just there were times I was kind of like, man, this is a lot to kind of take in. But it wouldn't be a bad place to start, I think, to be honest, because going from 5 to 3 might be a little too much of a, you know, it might be a lot of whiplash. Like you're going from a 2016, 2017 game to a game from 2006. It's probably going to feel, you know, you're going to notice the aged aspects of the game a lot more. Whereas like I didn't really, having not played 5 and having not played many RPGs, like I didn't notice that as much. So I don't think it's a bad place to start personally. Especially because I still really enjoyed the game. I you know, it's very memorable, and it's the thing. You know, the reason I'm kind of stuttering and not trying to talk about it. It's a hard game to talk about without really like spoiling the game wide open, and I don't want to do that because I don't feel it's, you know, you really need to go in blind. It's a game you really have to go in. You know, I knew one or two things beforehand, and I was like, damn, I really wish I didn't. So I feel like it works. It would be really, really effective, like in terms of like surprising you and like having some, you know, just genuine like, man, did not see that coming kind of moments.
Good, because like I have played 5, and I played like 15 hours of 4. I must get back to 4 again.
Yeah,
there's not enough time on Earth to play every single game I want to play. This is, you know, par for the course. But a good interesting thing is, yesterday I bought some Lego of the Tokyo skyline. I just realized Lego ripped off Persona 5. I can't believe that.
Can't believe they did that. Wow. Man, all these impersonators of like Persona, it's crazy.
I the Shibuya area on Lego. I can't believe that. Like,
I think I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go on my Twitter.com and cancel Lego right now. I think I'm gonna have to be like at Lego. Oh, you guys ripped off Persona. Let's get these guys. Come on, let's get these guys canceled. It's about time. Lego, you know, they bend the knee and fucking take a.
Yeah,
you know,
it's about time someone brought down Lego. You know.
Slightly off topic though, I will say. One cool thing about Lego. I don't want to. I'm not getting into Nintendo yet. But one cool thing about Lego is they do embrace fan games, apparently, which was something, because there's this like Bionicle fan game apparently that they have given their blessing, and they're even like
that's really cool.
Slightly helping out with like development and stuff. And I was like, man, like it was kind of freaking awesome.
What company would not do that? I wonder.
Well, it definitely wasn't that company that I mentioned about 20 seconds ago, but we'll save that for later. But to close on Persona 3, oh yeah, and another thing else I want to mention, incredibly good soundtrack. Really, really good soundtrack. Like, really, really good music. Very easy to listen to outside the game. Like, an absolute, like, really, like, absolutely slaps. Like, one of the best OSTs in a game I've heard in a while.
The battle music fucking slaps, like it does.
The battle music is really good, yeah. But there's lots of other like really good tracks in the game that you really come to kind of like hum along to, or like just kind of like go like, man, this, or just bop your head to. Like it's just like, man, this soundtrack is really good. A lot of really good music. So that was another really great part about the game. And overall I did really enjoy it. Just most elements I really enjoyed. It was maybe a little long, but again, that might just be the way I played it. Like if I had kind of taken it, because say like I said it took me a month and a half, but I mean I took like a big like 2-3 week break from playing it, and it was like I more so like just kept binging the game, which probably wasn't the way to go about it. So Persona 4 I might be going at from like a different angle.
In like 6 years' time.
Yeah, it's 6 years' time. Yeah, I thought you were going into like some sort of I don't know, like some sort of your own little story there.
Move on.
Yeah, I think at this point. So yeah, just closing on Persona 3. I liked it a lot, but and I thought like it is a very memorable game. I'm gonna look back at it as like one of the kind of most kind of memorable games I played in 2020. Absolutely. Had a few issues, but it was a very good game, a very enjoyable experience. But I'm not sure I would play the next Persona game the same way. So
I want to talk about only for like a short time, Borderlands 3.
Ooh, spicy, yeah, definitely got some things to say about that one.
It came out 2019. I played on PS4 for a bit. What a mistake that was. Play on PS4. It was raw.
The base PS4, yeah.
Base PS4, yeah.
Or do you have like? I know it doesn't really matter, but is it like the slim one you have? I think.
Yeah, it makes no difference at all.
It's still just base PS4 pretty much.
The slim just gives you like a terabyte.
So 500 gigs, yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to spend too long on the game because I don't think the game deserves that much of my time.
That's fair.
You can play through the game this year.
Yeah, on
PC. You had a fucking rough time with the game, didn't you?
Yeah, there's
I don't think rough is the word. Maybe like abhorrently bad time. Like
I chalk some of it down to me. I think the game like it might be like the DirectX 11 version of that game or something. I'm not sure. Maybe that's why it ran so early.
Like Windows 7 too, like
exactly, because I was playing so to let you all know, like I'm a bit of a fucking Neanderthal troglodyte person because I kept rolling on to Windows 7 until 2020, which I know some people would be like, Jesus Christ, a bit of a trooper I am. Like, but, I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure there's tons of people that still do have it, like, but it's probably just after a while I was like, I really gotta upgrade. Some games I was just having tons of issues with, and I think Borderlands 3 was the culmination of that, because I was like, man, this is really bad. The frame rate I was getting in that game was like, it was in like the mid. It could go anywhere from maybe like high in the 90s, hundreds to like as low as like being in like teens. It just all over the place. Never could really find like a happy medium, like middle ground. It was legitimately like a horrible, really really poor. I kept playing because I enjoyed playing the multi, just playing co-op with my friend, but at the same time, man, rough does not describe it, as you said. It was, whoa. bad.
I had a obviously better experience. Because
Once I moved to, I'll just mention that once I moved to 10 and tried the DirectX 12 version, that runs perfectly fine. It's perfectly playable. Of course, that happened right after we finished the final boss. Great.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. But like the game wasn't like the smoothest experience ever. It had like some issues at launch as well. Even after launch had issues. Goddamn, the writing in that game is fucking terrible. The characters are so unbelievably unlikable. Dated humor, just not fun to sit down and listen to their fucking shit. Like
it was like the writers like browsed Know Your Meme and 4chan in 2013 and just went okay, here's some good jokes. Yeah, this is pretty good. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and maybe go to we'll say 2013 to 2017, 2018, because there were some more I guess there were some slightly topical like I remember they had Zero doing the you had to do it to him pose, which I mean that's not the worst thing, but I was just really. But then you have stuff I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. I've been kind of trying to wash it from my mind, honestly. Some of the humor, but there were a lot of dated meme jokes in the game that were just absolutely awful, and just incredibly cringy.
What was the character's name? That girl that's part of the main story. What's her name again? Can't remember.
You talking about Ava?
Eva.
Yeah,
what a horribly written character. What a horrible character.
The new characters weren't good, and I feel like they ruined some of the old ones. Reese, for example.
Reese got shafted. Reese is an annoying little bastard in the game.
Reese, I hated Reese.
I played Tales. I'm not sure if you played Tales. Did you, Ken?
I heard that's the thing. I'd always heard good things. I never got around to it, but I hear it's by far the best piece of Borderlands media in terms of in terms of writing, in terms of the actual writing, it's easily the best.
And it's mad because it's written by a studio that has nothing to do with Borderlands, you know what I mean? But by the old Telltale games. I don't want to spend too long on Borderlands 3. I'll say this: horrible writing, repetitive but fun gameplay, boring side quests. Boring main quest, stupid fucking boss fights, except one
against one of the main villains. Yes. It was the second last fight in the game. It was actually a pretty good fight. I will say.
It was fun, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good fight. Against one of the it was against one of the siblings. Honestly,
yeah.
I think it was Troy. I believe
it was Troy. Yeah, I don't care about it. It was Troy Calypso.
Yeah. Well, you knew you were going to be fighting them because they were kind of telling Troy and Tyrene is these are the handsome Jack of Borderlands 3, fucking Twitch streamers, which
wow, it's really funny, Randy Fisher.
Tyrene,
really funny game you made, man.
Awful. I hated her.
Awful.
Hated her. I argue I think both her and Ava are awful, but I could not stand Tyrene's voice. It genuinely annoyed me. It pissed me off. I was and to be fair, at least with Tyrene, at least it's you can she is the boss. You're kind of meant to hate her, I guess. But compared to Handsome Jack, who I'm not a huge Handsome Jack fan either. I wouldn't say he's my favorite villain or anything. But at the same time, he was well developed. He had a good backstory. You could tell kind of that they kind of really took their time developing him, and you kind of understand where he's coming from, and he's in a way he's kind of sympathetic. He was a solidly written villain and memorable, but I really just don't like Troy and Tyrene at all. And Ava's pretty fucking annoying. That side quest she has where you're I don't know, you're trying to track down her journal or something. Damn. Not great.
Yeah. Alright, Ken. Any other games you want to discuss?
Yeah, I played this little game called Ghostrunner, made by developer.
Little tiny indie game.
I mean, this one is more of an actual indie game.
Yeah, true.
I wouldn't really call Devolver games generally like massive titles. I suppose you could say Fall Guys, but even that kind of, we'll get to that. I might say something about that later.
Yeah.
But Ghostrunner, that's I've been looking forward to it kind of since it was I remembered seeing it for the first time. I think it was like sometime last year. And I didn't play the demo they put out back in like May. I didn't play that because it was like, I'll just wait till the game kind of actually releases, then I'll give it a fair shake. I find with demos like it's hard to get like a real feel for the game a lot of the time, and sometimes it can put you off getting a game, but then you actually get the full game and you're like, wow, it's actually way better than the demo was.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I tend not to play them usually. But yeah, I went into Ghostrunner kind of blind, didn't really know a whole lot about it. I guess that would get me banned on Twitch.
He's gonna say, well, you just say a slur.
Sorry, I went into Ghostrunner, just without any prior knowledge, prematurely, didn't know anything going in. That was completely unintentional. I'm so sorry.
I went to Ghostrunner naked.
I went into Ghostrunner with my Willie. I went into the game, didn't really know, didn't really know a whole lot. Like I knew it was like fast paced kind of first person hacky slashy kind of game. But it kind of caught me off guard the way like it's very similar to like. It's almost like a 3D version of games like Super Meat Boy or Hotline Miami in the sense that like whenever you die, you got to go back to the last checkpoint, and you die in like one hit. It's just that's it. Like you die, that's it. There's no kind of like if you take a hit in any way, it's like you're straight back to the last checkpoint. But it can which means it can be unforgiving. But it's just like Meat Boy and Hotline Miami. You're not doing like long stretches of gameplay over. Like it's like maybe the last minute, 2 minutes at most. You'll have to like trek back and redo. So it's punishing, but in a way that's like you can totally overcome any challenge that the game kind of throws at you. It took a little while for it to click. And when I first played it, I wasn't super into it. Like I thought that. I kind of thought the game, like, I don't know, there were some weird issues with, like, the platforming. I felt there was some weird, like, collision issues. Like, you have a grapple hook in the game, and I remember there'd be times where the icon will light up, but for some reason you just wouldn't, like, the odd time you just wouldn't grapple, which was weird. I don't know if that was maybe, like, a glitch, or did I have to be at a very specific angle for that particular grapple or something? It was a little weird. And just, like, some weird, like, collision issues with, like, the game, like, detecting if you had like met with a wall like to run across it, or had your sword connected with an enemy. Like sometimes you'd be like, oh, I feel like that should have gotten them, but it would just, you'd be unfazed and get shot and die. But eventually like things did click. The game kind of came together well for me, and overall I enjoyed it a lot. But I have some issues with it. The story is incredibly generic. It's like I couldn't really tell you what happened. Honestly, it was just incredibly like just boring and like uninteresting. Like the Ghostrunner and like the main kind of like narrator guy following you for most of the game. Like there's some good voice acting, but I thought the actual story was very like cliche and uninteresting. And like the the world had a really, I will say visually the game is very, very nice to look at. For a game that was probably made by a fairly small team, I was legitimately impressed with what they were able to achieve. Like they make some, the game has a really cool world and atmosphere, and the music like is really good. It really kind of much kind of like Doom. It really like elevates the gameplay. Like really complements it in a way where it kind of just works in tandem with the swordplay in the game, and you just kind of feel it makes you feel really badass when things click.
I wonder if, like, because I played a little indie game called literally Katana Zero,
Oh,
and
yes.
I loved it. So I wonder if I'd like Ghostrunner.
It's hard to say because I haven't. That's a game that's on
Yeah,
my to playlist, but I've not played Katana Zero.
Yeah.
Is that?
I mean-
was that also Devolver?
Yeah.
Like obviously they didn't make it.
Man,
They
Devolver have some gems
They
in
have
their
a-
roster.
Yeah,
really
they have some very strong titles. Like I did think
Yeah.
I was very because considering this the team and like I imagine it wasn't like a massive studio. Like I don't think the credits had like a ton of like listed names as far as I remember. I remember being quite
I think
impressed.
it was a Polish studio, right?
Something like that, yeah. I don't want to. Well, I don't want to
Yeah.
say for sure because I haven't done like a ton of research into it at all. I just picked the game up because like this could be something fun to play. I kind of want to check it out, and it doesn't run long. It only took me 6 hours. It might take some people longer. Like I felt by the end of the game I was pretty good at it. Like fairly. I kind of knew my way around like the mechanics and stuff to a point where I wasn't struggling too much. Though there is like a final gauntlet kind of part at the end of the game. I don't want to like spoil anything, but it's very it's a pretty big difficulty spike. I kind of was like, man, this really like crept up on me. It's and a few times I was like this. It's like one of those things where it's a difficulty spike that. It did legitimately. I was a few times going, this. I'm not sure about this, but I've only played the game once. I don't want to say like for sure that it was kind of, I guess, unfair. But there were a few parts in that where I was getting pretty frustrated. But for most of the game, I feel like when you die, it's your fault, or when like you screw up, it's your fault. But there was the odd time of like collision or maybe just like a weird thing with like. Enemy like hit detection where things you kind of just go, not sure about that. But overall, it was a really fun game. You'll die a lot while playing it, but that's kind of the whole point. I'm pretty sure if you beat the game without dying a single time, you probably only run like 2-3 hours. So, but it's a lot of fun though, and it has a lot of really strong qualities to it, and I hope the team that make it either do a sequel or just kind of develop something, do another kind of concept with like the gameplay engine they've built, because it was pretty strong. There's a good foundation there.
Nice. All right, that was Ghostrunner. Sick. I want to move on to Jedi Fallen Order.
Ah, yes.
Came out 2019, end of 2019.
I played it in 2019.
I didn't. I played it in early 2020.
Yeah.
I think before lockdown. I think so. Can't remember.
I feel like I remember you playing it during it because it was.
Was it?
Yeah. Did you get the game on? What did you get the game on? Was it Steam?
Steam, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I remember you playing it in like March.
Oh, I played it in May. Apparently, I played it in May.
Oh, you played it in May. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, after lockdown.
Yeah.
But I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan.
Of course. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. It's not a perfect game.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for what it is. I'm also a pretty big Dark Souls, Bloodborne fan, and it does try to like
mimic
and like emulate that style while also trying to be like Star Wars or Uncharted.
That's true.
And I think for their first attempt, like Respawn, went from making Titanfall to making Apex to now making like a pretty good Star Wars game. So like Respawn are a pretty good company, I feel.
Yeah, and I hear that their working conditions are like actually good, which is nice.
Oh, sweet, nice, yeah.
I've heard they don't tend to crunch. They like and much like much like some other companies that like say Supergiant, which did Hades. I wish I played that, but never didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
But I hear that they do give like good vacation hours and stuff too. So
yeah, good to hear.
Yeah, I hear things are good at Respawn, which I'm very happy to hear.
Because soon I'll talk about a game made by companies that don't practice good crunch policies at
Gee,
all.
I wonder what game
I
that
wonder,
is.
I wonder what game that is. Anyway, Jedi Fallen Order. Really good. Just like, it kind of surprised me how much I liked the game, how much I digged the fucking story, and I like. Cal Kestis isn't the most amazing protagonist ever, but for what he is, like, he's okay, you know.
I suppose it's like a similar thing to like. It's not like Luke Skywalker in like New Hope was like the most interesting protagonist.
You need time with these guys.
He's still a young. He's a young guy. Like he's kind of still trying to find his way. Like now they think about it, like I'm sure if they do a sequel or like which they certainly will. They're going to like flesh him out and give him kind of more personality and like you get to learn more about like his past and who he is and like what makes him want to do what he does.
Yeah.
You know? What's his drive?
And for me, playing the game after seeing the fucking absolutely abysmal movie, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, I hate that film so much. After watching that film, it was like, man, Star Wars is bad. Like, but then playing the game, it kind of made me like not like fall in love with Star Wars again, but like appreciate it more. Luckily, this is like some real good Star Wars, like.
It's like I think it's like one of those things where Star Wars kind of seems to be excelling in every area, or at least mostly every area that isn't the actual films right now. It's,
because as of recording, Mandalorian season 2 wrapped up, and that was fucking amazing. It was the best show of 2020.
Still gotta catch up.
Do it right now. Fuck this podcast. Go watch that. It's amazing.
Okay. Well, that's it, guys. We're not finishing the list. See ya.
But no, like I said, the game isn't perfect. Like what it does well, it does well. Like the like adventuring part of the game, like feeling like fucking Jedi, just going anywhere. Like it's fantastic. Like
yeah, true. I mean, deflecting you feel so cool like when you're like deflecting like the stormtrooper bullets and like the when you can like I don't know like take on like famous kind of like Star Wars like creatures and stuff like it's like you really feel like part of the world and it's like such a cool I don't know like it's there's obviously been tons of Star Wars games but I don't know I will say there aren't any quite like Jedi Fallen Order that kind of puts you like so like I don't know, like entwined in like this kind of new world and adventure and everything,
There was one part of the game I still struggle to kind of understand why it's a feature. Like they obviously took a lot of inspiration from Dark Souls. Like it's clear.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, the whole like meditation system of like if you die you like respawn at like bonfire pretty much. That's okay I guess, but like if you just kind of come back to the bonfire, let's say mid-level, and like enemies are sort of alive and some are dead, all of them respawn. Like there's why this is like Star Wars. It's not.
The game was made by Respawn though.
Cut that out. No, not good. But to be fair, they could have like just had like a checkpoint system and not like a bonfire lantern system.
That's true.
The combat is fun. Like my like dream Star Wars game would be made by like From Software. They'd like take the combat from Sekiro and put it in Star Wars, and that'd be fucking sick. I'd fucking love that. But we don't live in like a fantasy world. That's not gonna happen ever.
I mean, it's just like Elden Ring. It won't happen. But like
Elden Ring is not the thing, guys. Don't kill your hopes up.
It's
only pure fantasy.
With Star Wars, I will say that like I don't know if I can see that happening because it's just I think I already feel Jedi Fallen Order is kind of ballsy enough as it is, going for kind of a Dark Souls style. I was not expecting that from Star Wars.
Yeah.
I will say that.
No.
Like for such a big IP that like that's very kind of like like it's such a well-known franchise, and like kids are gonna be playing it, and like people of all ages are gonna play that, and like for them to kind of make a game that is like it's tough at times. Like I wouldn't say it's obviously not quite to the level of like Dark Souls or Sekiro or Bloodborne, but it has its moments. Though. I struggled at the beginning. Like there's that part early on where you can like go to the cave to fight. God, what was that yoke? It was an optional boss.
Big Frog.
Yeah, Big Frog.
Yeah.
God, what was it called? I fought it so many freaking times. I forget what it's called though.
I fought it once because I'm sick.
Yeah, I trying to remember what the thing was called. It was like.
It started with G or something. I don't know. I remember.
Boobla.
Yeah.
Fucking know. It was a big ass frog.
Frogman.
And I tried taking it on. Yeah, it was a big ass frog. I tried taking it on straight away. Like I went off the beaten path. And tried taking it on. And got my ass handed to me. Holy shit! Like on. I think it was Jedi. Was the second hardest difficulty Jedi Master? I think.
Jedi Knight.
Was it Jedi Knight? It was the second. Yeah. It was the second hardest difficulty. The one under like Grand Master, I think. Whatever that was.
Maybe. I don't know. Was it Jedi Knight or like Jedi Master? I think Grand Master. I'm not sure.
Something like that. Again, it's been a year.
Like second hardest. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just got my ass handed to me. I don't know how it's gonna be on. The hardest difficulty. I really struggled as well with some parts towards the end. Like I was dying quite a bit. Just because, like, again, I'm definitely not great at like Souls-esque games. So even like Fallen Order, which is definitely a bit more streamlined, like that put me in my paces. Like which, again, I think is kind of ballsy for a Star Wars game. I was a bit surprised they actually took that route. Like EA and Disney allowed them to go that route. Legitimately surprising. Yeah. So I give it props for that.
A few things I want to talk about with the game. There's no like you can't cut off limbs, you can't cut off heads unless they're droids. It feels bad. It feels fucking just like you should really. I know Disney were such a family friendly company.
Game is 16, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, do you not think you could get away with that for like a 16? Yeah, it's not going to be bloody, like it's going to be like
yeah, it'd be kind of like soldered off, like, and you see like fucking what's the term? Do you know like where you like burn a wound?
Yeah, there's like that like kind of orangey under it, kind of when you
whatever it's called.
When you like cut it, when you like cut off the limb, like it's like. Kind of a like I think it's
there's like no blood at all.
Yeah, there's no blood at all. Yeah, it's like you chop down like a robot or something.
Yeah.
Which
sure,
Fallen Order does let you do. Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But if
Troy's lives do not matter.
It literally don't. That's like you can fucking you can slice a droid up no problem, but if you try to slice up one stormtrooper, no way, Jose. I hope in the sequel that's maybe rectified.
I don't think so. Maybe like a mod.
To me, it is like I know it's probably a weird thing, but for me, it is actually kind of a sore spot. Like that is something that brings the game down. I think that shit's cool. Like I can't deny it. Like you feel. Yeah. To me, that's like more. I'm not saying like the Star Wars movies have like tons of that shit. But like some of the best
they don't. The Disney ones don't think have a lot of like stabbing through people or like cutting off limbs. Like Raiden not lose a limb at all.
Yeah, true.
Well, I remember like Kylo got stabbed through the chest, but like wasn't that bad. Like that was like the only time I can remember like someone getting like cut up.
True. Yeah. Yeah. Like I just they weren't they definitely had to try and go for like a more family friendly kind of
yeah
like they weren't. I guess it's because you just can't get away with kind of the same stuff that they did in like the 70s 80s. I mean,
but like there's like a dark undertone. There's like a dark undertone to the game though. Like Cal's situation is not like it's on a happy time. Like
he loses his kind of
everything.
Yeah, like
it's real life.
Yeah, like he's already lost things by the time the game even begins, but you know he loses like his I guess kind of father figure, you know, like that
Yeah.
I forget what his name was, but like he was like in the first like half an hour, 40 minutes of the game, like he kind of seemed like
He was his friend, wasn't it?
it was like I was his name like Griff.
Oh,
Like
are you talking about like he's a Jedi master, or like he's like friend at like the scrapyard?
Yeah, I was kind of I guess you have both, like, yeah, both of them kind of, you know, because I remember the Jedi Master guy who also loses his life, but you don't find that out.
Spoilers.
I'll probably just put like a tag, you know, before we talk about it. But okay, so next we're talking about the little guy that appears at the end of the game. Probably haven't heard of him.
I mean, I got that spoiled for me, so it was pretty.
yeah.
Not surprising. But another big thing about Fallen Order I want to talk about is the performance on PC. Was lackluster. Was not good enough, I don't think.
Was it like bad or just kind of like
it just dropped frames all the time. It's not good enough, I don't think, for like a fucking AAA Star Wars game. It needed more time.
Yeah,
and of course, Disney and EA, a combination of those two, putting pressure on Respawn, came out in a poor state. It still is in a poor state, I think.
It's a case of like a Christmas launch, like where the game like has to come out at this time. Like it very much reminds me of a certain game from a certain franchise that came out the exact same day. You know, gotta catch them all.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very, very similar.
Also, the whole pressure of there's a new Star Wars film releasing soon. This has to come out beside it. Drive up more sales, like, you know.
Yeah, it's the exact. Yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate, like, because I do, you know, the game could be since if it hadn't been like slightly rushed, because the PS4 version, which is the one I played, definitely had a lot of like little performance issues. Though to be fair, it did run pretty good for like. Considering the fact that the frame rate was even unlocked, like you could, you know, it could reach as high as 60 FPS.
Oh wow!
I was surprised how like decent it was. It dropped a lot of frames, but you get used to it. Like I still enjoyed the game a lot. For me, like the biggest issues I had with Fallen Order probably were again like the lack of like limb kind of detachment, I suppose, and also like. Again, like performance issues and stuff, and also like if you're going for like kind of full completion, which I like to do with some games, that can be very dull. Like there's, I would just say play through the story and maybe leave it there. There's not really much to do afterwards. Like it's just little collectibles and stuff, and they're not really like all that interesting to get. It's like an extra 10-15 hours, and it's just not particularly. I didn't have a lot of fun because I do find the areas are just a little like samey. Like things just kind of blend together. You kind of don't really get like it's not like a Souls game, I find, where like, you know, every area you kind of, they generally are pretty well designed. Like with Fallen Order, I kind of was like, So some parts were just annoying to traverse, I found, when you had to do like backtracking and stuff.
Yeah. I agree.
But overall, like I liked the game. I thought it was good.
I definitely liked the game more than you, I think, because I think I am a bigger Star Wars fan.
That's definitely true. I like Star Wars. I don't love it. You know, I'm a big.
Yeah, fair enough.
I liked you know, I like the movies. I like what I've seen of Mandalorian. And, you know, I didn't watch like Clone Wars or you know, I didn't really watch. I haven't really read any of like the novels or the comics or anything like that. But
yeah,
you know, I'm like aware of their existence in terms of like some things. But yeah, I just like Star Wars, but I wouldn't be like huge on it.
Good, not great, I think. I think it's probably going to be like the first in I'm going to assume like a trilogy maybe of games.
Of course, so they have time to kind of like build on what they've done.
Refine it more, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a good first effort.
That's fair, because I mean, it was Respawn's first time doing that style of game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like a third-person action adventure from Respawn is like not something I thought I'd ever say. I thought they'd always be like first-person shooter. But no, I love when studios like do something different like that. Yeah, branch it, do something new and exciting. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And Respawn, if you're listening, you're not though, but well done, good job.
I'm sure they are. Who's the like head of Respawn?
Vince Zappila something. I don't remember.
Vince Zappella or something like that, maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We're
very knowledgeable in the games industry.
Yeah. Closing thoughts. It is good. It's good. Yeah. I recommend that playthrough. Anyway, if you're a big Star Wars fan, I recommend it wholeheartedly.
There you go, Vince. I hope you enjoy his recommendation.
Yeah. You can sleep well tonight now, Vince.
Get this guy a job at Respawn.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool.
Ken, Control. Your thoughts?
That game, yes, Control. That Remedy game. I
like what, sorry?
No. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I finished the game recently, so it's quite fresh in my mind, and I want to know your thoughts on it.
I Control was like the first game I played this year, so again, that's kind of like I think it's just with all that's happened this year and like how things have been going, it's like, man, I'm gonna have to like kind of really try to dig into the recesses of my brain to try and remember exactly kind of what I played, but I definitely dug Control pretty hard. Like I have some issues. Again, as always, like I have issues with it, but playing it on PS4, I had a pretty good experience with it, and it, you know, there was some really cool like ideas and concepts in that game, specifically with like its lore and its world, that I thought were
real cool. Real cool world.
Yeah, the kind of like I was like, man, that's actually pretty cool. I haven't seen anything like that kind of done before. I mean, maybe it has. It's just I haven't kind of come across anything like it. With the idea of like this kind of house where like things are just kind of all like fucked and weird, and like everyday objects are like the most deadly fucking thing, like a TV. If you walk up to it, might like, I don't know, transport you to like another dimension, and like everything might be curved in like a weird way, or like you find like I remember there's like a I think you find like a duck or something, or like I don't even remember. There was like one of the objects of power you find, and it just like again, it like completely transforms the world in like such an interesting way. I remember I was constantly reading like the little like pieces of lore that I found. Like I was like legitimately wanting to kind of uncover the kind of just like the mystery of like the game's world and like how things are made, and the audio tapes in the game by that had it was like the actor who played like Alan Wake. I don't remember who the name of the character that he played, but they were really interesting. Like I anytime I saw one from him, I was always like eager to give him a listen. I really enjoyed like the story and the world and the characters. Like Jessie's a good protagonist. I think she's one of the better like female protagonists I've seen in a game recently. Probably there with like Aloy for me. I really enjoyed the story. The gameplay would probably be a little more like contentious in that regard, because there's some really cool like powers and stuff that you can do in the game of like throwing like objects in the environment, and kind of like levitation, and like the service weapon was like actually pretty cool, like the way like they could like change into like different forms and stuff, and I like the little animations for it. They were pretty cool. But I would say it could get repetitive at times, the combat, and the checkpoint system is bad. Like just straight up, just kind of bad.
I was gonna say the combat and its like repetitiveness is like one of my biggest problems with the game. I feel like the combat kind of lacked weight.
Like, as in, you didn't feel like your
I-
attacks had like a punch
Yeah.
to them, like.
Yeah, no, maybe the powers did, but not the source.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I thought it was cool, like the way it could like shift and change, like the little animations that were kind of
It
cool.
was cool. Yeah, it really fit well with the whole theme of the game.
Mm.
But I kind of wanted more variety.
Yeah, that's fair.
But again, we like same thing as we said for Fallen Order. A good first attempt, I think.
I actually have a similar opinion to Control as I did Fallen Order. Like I have similar thoughts.
Yeah.
I even do some things kind of similarly. Obviously, Fallen Order kind of goes for more of a Dark Souls vibe, whereas Control is kind of more your typical kind of third person, like action adventure kind of game. Like a I don't know. I don't want to say Uncharted because it's not like
It's not Uncharted.
it's not incredibly linear or anything. You can kind of take on like different side quests and like you can kind of take the story at your own pace. And there is like some backtracking and stuff. I like there are definitely games I'd like it into, but I just can't think off the top of my head. But I guess Fallen Order is like a similar style in that sense, like in that you can again take the story at your own pace and there's backtracking and stuff like that. But again, different kind of games. But main issue with Control would be like repetition. It just kind of it's enjoyable. I think the gameplay, like I do enjoy the gameplay loop, but I feel it's one of those things where it was a game even I was kind of like having to like every once after maybe like 4 or 5 hours of playing, I'd be like, okay, I think I need a break.
I agree. Yeah,
it can get kind of tedious. Like it is fun, but you do get a little tired of the combat loop after a while. And so like like being able to like throw stuff and like shoot things and like all that, like it can lose its novelty after a while. But I think overall it was good. I haven't played the DLC yet. I've no idea how good that is. I think it's supposed to be pretty good. I'm not sure. I do have the Ultimate Edition on Steam. It's another game I probably play at some point, but I'm not. That's probably another thing. I'm not sure when I'm going to feel like replaying Control. I'm not sure. I liked the game, but I don't know when I'd feel like replaying it. But I thought it was a pretty strong first game if Remedy ever plans to like make more, because I would definitely appreciate a sequel. I think there's more you can do with that world. I think there's more stuff that can be done, and I think if they can fine tune aspects like the checkpoint system and maybe add some more variety to the combat, not to like the detriment of the gameplay. Like don't just put variety for the sake of it, but maybe to like I don't know, just make the loop a little less repetitive and a little less tedious. Then I do think it could be a legitimate, like really good, like maybe even Game of the Year contender. Like if they could just really fine tune some aspects of the game, because I do think Remedy have it in them. Like they make really strong like narrative games, so I would kind of like to see them make one that really like resonates with people. But not that the Control but
the world and like its lore is what kept me going.
Exactly.
Like, I did take like quite a substantial break from like the game. I was like really close to the end, and like I just stopped playing. I got like frustrated with the gameplay. And after a few months, I came back and I just finished there. Like a week ago. I didn't think the ending was all that good. Not like the like cutscene, but like the kind of final boss. I meant to say wasn't like there wasn't really any final boss. It was just like spoilers, like a wave of enemies that you have to fight through, and that was really it. Like
exactly. It doesn't feel like a climax.
Yeah.
And Control does actually have bosses, but they're like all I think almost all of them are optional.
That's pretty cool though. I like that. That's pretty cool.
It's a cool thing. Like it kept me coming back to the game. Like once I was done with Control, I spent another, like Fallen Order, I kind of spent like another 10-15 hours playing it. But I actually enjoyed finishing up Control, unlike Fallen Order. I felt like the side missions were pretty enjoyable, and it like there weren't many where it was like, oh, this just kind of feels like tedious busy work. They're actually pretty solid, and there was some interesting dialogue. I think I thought visually the game had a really, really unique like style, like the very distinctive with like the red and white kind of red, white, black kind of backgrounds, like just a lot of it had a really cool look. There's not too many games I've seen that kind of look like it. It was just visually very pleasing, and I really liked. I thought the voice acting was also pretty strong.
I am a stickler for performance in video games, and that game has some performance issues. Like, whenever you pause the game, it's so slow.
I agree.
Move over menus, and especially when you came out of a menu, or came out of pause, the game would stutter for a second or two. It's really weird.
On PS4, it was every single time you pause the game, it would stop for 2-3 seconds, and incredibly distracting. I was like, this.
I played on PC.
Yeah,
by the way.
And it seems like on PC it's the same, I guess, if that's the case. You played it via Epic, I suppose, yeah.
Yep, Epic Games.
Yeah.
Best storefront ever.
The free games are good.
Yes, I think Steam needs to get on that.
Yeah, they got the free games, and I will say they always do really obviously screw Tim Sweeney, put
weird.
The game, they always have really good deals for developers, publishers, and all that, and and the games are they're really well priced on there. A lot of times they always have these 10 €10 coupons, and you can get a ton off. Control, I remember you can get for €10, I think, which it's well worth that. But
sure, cause Steam, because Valve have fuck off money. Epic do too, but Valve has fuck off money.
Yeah, well,
they have a lot more money.
For a long time. So
yeah.
But
so
yeah,
they can be whatever.
Yeah, I liked the game overall. I thought it was pretty strong. One of the stronger games I played this year. It definitely has issues, mostly that really bad checkpoint system. It would just spawn you there'd be times you might fall off just randomly kind of fall off there'd be times you'd think you could progress in a certain area and you might fall off, and it could spawn you way back in maybe 15-20 minutes of backtracking to some area, and it's Jesus Christ. It would be very frustrating. But the story, the characters, voice acting, music, visuals, and even the gameplay at times was really enjoyable. Just again, it could be quite repetitive, but a lot of really strong qualities to it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. And that Chapter 9, I really enjoyed that one Chapter 9 power trip kind of part that they have in the game. I thought that was pretty cool.
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't like it. I thought it was cool though.
Yeah.
Don't want to say any more, but
yeah, that was Control. Next game from my list is a little game called Death Stranding.
Norman Reedus and the funky fetus.
I haven't finished the game. I'm super close to finishing the game. I just haven't had time to finish it. I'm 47 hours into the game. I have a lot of thoughts on the game. So going to the game, I've only played one other Kojima game, that was MGS5. I didn't finish that game. We got 25 hours into it. A long game, yeah. I'm sure Ken can talk about MGS5.
Definitely talk about MGS5. I like
it. Going to Death Stranding, I hear oh man, Kojima makes the weirdest games ever, and it was weird for the hours I played, but not super weird. Death Stranding is a fucking weird video game. It is out there. It is like a bizarre ass game, but I feel like that works in its favor so much.
Yeah, it's true.
World is interesting. It's so interesting. Like the main character, Sam Bridges, played by Numridis, fucking like uses a baby to like see like dead people. Like, isn't that like fucking crazy? Like,
It's pretty fucking
and
weird,
yeah, and like there's characters literally called like Die Hardman and Deathman and like Mama and Hartman. Like
yeah.
they're like roles. They're like roles is like their names.
Which
half the time.
is the Guillermo del Toro insert? Is that that's Deadman, right? I think.
Yeah, that's Deadman. Yeah, that's Deadman.
And then yeah, there's I remember Hartman because he's like, what is he die? He dies like what, like every 23 minutes or something. It's like
Hartman dies every something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's Mama, who is a mother. Yeah, I'll get the story in a minute. But
it's
first,
probably hard to explain.
Yeah, for actual good part of the game, the gameplay it's not for everyone, but it's certainly for me. It is certainly for me. You have this ginormous, beautiful open world that you deliver packages to and from. You know, like
UPS, like delivery,
like FedEx later. Yeah. But like the way you have to like work out what gear you want to take, try and organize your gear on your back, and like don't go over like your weight limit. Then like set out plan. If like an obstacle is in your way, you've a couple of different ways to like get around it, like via a ladder or via like I forget what to call it, like a rope and shit like that.
Yeah, like you have like different kind of ways to like traverse the environment. I remember that. Like,
you
from
different gears. But like that sounds really boring.
It
but
does,
like
it's
play it like
cathartic.
You're just like completely immersed in the role of Sam Porter Bridges, and like you want to like help these people. You want to like
get the
deliver fucking pizza. You want to like deliver pizza to them or whatever they fucking want. Like
Yeah,
it's like
it's a satisfying loop.
It is a weirdly satisfying loop. I wonder how long Kojima and his team worked on making that fun. Because it does sound like such a boring game.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, before you even played it, you're like, I'm curious, but it just sounds really boring. Like, it sounds like dreadfully fucking boring. But then I played it and it was all I played it for. I did play Death Stranding this year on PS4. I put about 10 hours into it. Unfortunately, that's all I got around to playing. I had played that much, and I just, for some reason, even though I did think it was a really, really interesting game from what I actually played, I wanted to play more. I just hadn't gotten back to it. And now I have it on PC, so courtesy of Nathan Lanes right here. But I have yet to play the. I've yet to get back to it, but I really want to. Like it was just a really weird but fascinating game. I hadn't really played anything else like it, and I don't know if anyone else is going to try and emulate it. I mean, maybe the memes, like the weird meme games that I've seen, like Deadly Standing or some bullshit like.
Yeah.
But it's very one of a kind.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It is like a very one of a kind video game, and I don't think anyone is ever going to make a game like Death Stranding. How out there it is, and that is like a Kojima, and he's like creative process, because like the game, like I said, it's not for everyone, but it's for me. But what isn't for me is the game's fucking storyline. I'm not gonna sit here and try to explain the story. I think I respect my time so much. It's nonsense, yeah. It's cringy dialogue. Now, see, I'm not like a I'm not like a Hideo Kojima like expert. Like I don't play all of his games or anything. But like no, I don't think the story is any good. It's kind of stupid, fucking nonsensical, just like cringy, fucking
What's
bleh, like
the
it's
one
on and on. Like,
the one line that I always think of when I think of Death Stranding's dialogue is that one. What is it? It's like you're like you'll be like the Mario to my Princess Peach or some shit. I can't. It's so bad.
It's like you're like Mario and I'm Princess Peach
Princess Peach. Oh, that's
because
so
they are on a beach. Yeah,
on a beach.
yeah. The dialogue can be like
That is pretty fucking rancid.
Cringe.
I'm not gonna lie. It's really bad.
it can be cringe. Like yeah.
Like I don't mind
and
if it's like charmingly cringy. I don't mind because I
I
got a
don't.
game coming
For
up.
me, it's not.
I have a game
it's
coming
not.
up. Yeah, I have a game coming up where I can be like, I would call the dialogue, you know, it can be cringy at times, but it's like in an endearing or like maybe charming kind of way. But with Death Stranding, it's like, I think it's that the game like seems to kind of like take itself like I don't want to say
Too seriously. Yeah.
yeah. Then like and
No,
there's nothing.
no.
There's nothing wrong with like wanting to kind of like, you know, make something like really ridiculous or stupid and like take it in like this kind of serious direction. But the writing, like it just reeks of like this was a Japanese game that was translated into English, where like it's just like the dialogue's just bizarre. Like you just kind of go, man, who wrote this? Like it's just so. It seems so weird at times.
I'll tell you who wrote it. His name was Hideo Kojima. That's who wrote the game.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I assume
like,
it has
for
at
the
least
games,
like interesting concepts and stuff though. It, like explores some interesting things.
I was just gonna say,
Yeah.
the like aesthetics of the game is like fucking sick. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in the game, and the music is fucking amazing. It is an amazing music experience. Honestly, like you will be there walking down a mountain, and like the perfect song comes on to like just kind of, I suppose, capture what Sam is feeling. And for me, that's when the story is sort of at its best. When like you have that time to like kind of reflect
Yeah, exactly. Like from what
on what just happened.
why I liked that 10 hours so much, even though I never got back to it, was because like when that happens, like when you get like a really good, you know, a really good song and like a really like nice like environment to traverse and you know like a nice you know fun little gameplay loop and everything like when everything just comes together, it's just it's like euphoric. Like it's just this really great like audio visual experience. Like you really get invested in like the game's world, and you're like, yeah, I think I kind of get it. You know, like it's a weird thing, or like even though it's like such a bizarre concept for a video game, you're kind of playing it and you're like, why am I kind of like this. Like it works. It's so bizarre, but it works. But I totally get why people, you know, why there are people out there that are like, no, I don't like it, or it doesn't click for me, and that's totally fair. Like it's not going to work for everybody. That's like Death Stranding, in my opinion, is probably the definition of like Marmite, like, you know, like a Marmite video game, like that. Some people are gonna like it, some people are gonna hate it. It's just not for everybody. Like I see a lot of people who are saying like, oh, it's boring ass game, one of the worst games of the year, are really overrated. Like there were people, you know, there are people out there that like legitimately hate it just as much as there are people that like love the game. So it's a bizarre one, you know, it's a really bizarre one, but that's what makes it so interesting.
And I just want to like close up my thoughts on the game by saying I like the game a lot. If you're going to buy the game, get it on sale, because again, it's like a risk of like you might not like the game. Like I don't want to like not like support Kojima, because I feel like I mean, does he need the support? Like he's probably backed by like fucking Sony or whatever. Like, but still, I feel like as
he's such a creative, I suppose.
The game art, the game is art, like it is. But I feel like if you want to try the game, get on sale.
Yeah, of course. I think it's one of those games like I would put it on a list of like games you should try before you die. Like just once,
Yeah,
give it a shot, see what you think. If you hate it, that's fair. But it's just such like an interesting game. Like I find it like kind of and some might be like thinking, oh, it's just like pretentious fucking crap, like, and it's not, there's nothing to gain out of playing it and all that. And like, if you feel that way, you're entitled to. It's just I feel like there is some substance there. It does seem like that there was like a good concept that kind of does seem to shine through at times, but there are some like maybe sore spots you might have to get through to see them, which, and it seems in your case, Nathan, is the story. I can't vouch for it really, because again, I just haven't played enough of it. Got to get back to it at some point and just play through it, but it seems interesting.
Alright, and what are your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 2, man? I know you played the game a lot this year.
Yeah, I've probably like 40, 45 hours on that. I haven't like done everything there is to do, because it's, again, like a relatively meaty game. There's quite a lot to do like after you're finished with it. Like if anything, like when you've beaten like the story, it's kind of like, you still have about half the game left. But yeah, there's a lot of like post game content. But yeah, I've kind of like with Kingdom Hearts, like I kind of have an interesting history, because like I've played. I played the first game when I was a kid. Like, I was only, I don't know, like 5, 6 when I got that on PS2. But I didn't beat the first game until 2019 when I got the PS4 remasters. And then I played that. I enjoyed it. It's a little dated, but I liked the game overall. But then I played also the game that came after it, Chain of Memories, which is like this kind of character combat kind of game, and didn't really like that one, and it kind of put me off playing the rest. I did finish it fully, but it took me like a year and a half to get over to play KH2. But now that I've played it, I can say that I really, really enjoyed it. It's it's a game that has definitely some, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It can be, some of the dialogue can definitely be a bit, I don't want to say cringy, but maybe a little very, very cheesy and very like, use the power of friendship to destroy the darkness. That kind of really like cheesy stuff. But it's still kind of endearing in a way. I don't know. It's like one of those things where like it does take itself seriously, but it's like it's almost kind of like, I don't know. I kind of appreciate it in the sense that like it's like such a goofy concept, but it's like still kind of taking itself seriously in a way where you still somehow get like a little bit invested in like what's going on in the characters and stuff. And it has actually, I think the opening is like legitimately pretty strong in terms of a story. It's fairly it's surprisingly kind of emotional, so I like that. But what really makes the game like just really fun to play is the combat. And compared to like the first Kingdom Hearts, it's like light years ahead. Not even close. Like it genuinely feels like there were like 5 games that came out in between the first and second game that I didn't play or something. It's like, it's kind of such like it's such a like a faster, more mobile game. It's like they turned, the first game, if the first game is like Devil May Cry 1, then Kingdom Hearts 2 is probably like a, Devil May Cry 3, 4, 5. Just way more options, way more like much flashier combat, much you can just do some really sick combos and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. Can be tough. I played it on Proud mode, which is like the second hardest difficulty, and I played the first game on the hardest too, and I definitely struggled with KH2 a bit, but that's probably just because, again, as well, there's like so much new in the game that it can be a little overwhelming. But I will say visually the game holds up really well. When I was playing it, I was actually kind of surprised that for a game released during like the PlayStation 2 kind of generation, I was a bit surprised at just how well it held up in HD. Like I was like, man, this could very easily pass for like a PS3 game. It still looks pretty damn good, and the score is really, really good. So a lot of great music. Very, very, definitely something I like listening to on the side.
Do you think I would like Kingdom Hearts? Or Kingdom Hearts in general?
It's it's kind of Marmite. Like, you either like it or you don't. I think it's like, can you take a game with like fucking, Mickey Mouse as the king, like as like, the ruler of an entire kingdom, like, and like actually kind of meant to be like, he's like actually considered like a really kind of legendary kind of like fucking badass character. Can you kind of take that, like, not take that seriously, but can you like take it for what it is and just like accept it and just be like, whatever, it's fine, I don't mind.
Could I take Mickey Mouse as like a badass legendary king at face value? No, I cannot.
Yeah, exactly. Like could you even take it as like, I like you can enjoy the gameplay. I think if you can't take that at face value, you're gonna think the story is probably absolute fucking nonsense, and you're gonna like it's just gonna be like, this is, the dialogue's cringy or whatever, and like it's really trying hard to kind of the emotional parts, like it's trying too hard and stuff. But I like some parts of it. I think it can work well. There's some interesting kind of concepts that they do with this kind of thing where they have basically every character in the game has a thing called a nobody, which is basically like it's like them without a heart or something. I know it's like trying to describe it as like really, it just sounds like nonsense. But if you play the game, you'll understand it. Like that's the problem with Kingdom Hearts, I find. If you try to explain it to somebody that has no knowledge of prior kind of entries or just about the series, it's just going to be like, what is he talking about? Like, it's like trying to explain rocket science almost. But if you it's like everybody always says it's incredibly confusing, but if you just play the games chronologically, it's not that bad. But obviously you have to be that invested in the first place. I do think 2 is worth playing for the gameplay. It is actually a lot of fun. I think it's one of those things where if you can kind of get past the story and the dialogue, and you can skip the cutscenes as well in the HD remix versions, so that's definitely a big plus for people that just don't care about the story. You can just kind of get straight to the gameplay and enjoy that. And there's a lot of really great like Disney kind of kind of flavored gameplay in it as well. Like they do a lot of cool things with the Disney worlds, like, and the way they kind of play into like combos and combat and stuff. I think the game really comes into its own after you finish it, because then you really start unlocking like, the versatile kind of like stuff for traversal. Like you get like, you get like a double jump and like a dash and like a dodge roll and kind of like just all this like really fucking flashy stuff that makes the combat even more kind of just enjoyable, like, and fast paced. But obviously, as I just to answer your question, I think you could definitely enjoy the gameplay, but the story is, it would be hard to play Kingdom Hearts 2 without playing the others and like understanding it. You'd just be completely lost. So I'm not sure in that regard, but the gameplay's still good and the music's great and visually it still holds up pretty good. So there's a lot to like, but I do think it's like one of those things where if for the story you kind of have to be in there. You kind of have to know what you're getting into, and just take it for what it is. But it was probably one of my favorite games I played this year, honestly. I really, really did enjoy it. And I'm still playing it, so it's
You're still playing it? Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, I'm still playing it. It's keeping me coming back to just fight like some of the super bosses. Like you can fight all of the basically, like in the game, there's this big organization called like Organization 13, and they're basically made up of all those like nobodies that I was talking about, like the people without hearts, and they're kind of trying to find their, I guess, kind of trying to find their place in the world, I guess, or something like that. I know it sounds like nonsense. It sounds cringy nonsense. But if you play the game, you get it. But like they have like you can fight all of them in like these like battles after the game's over. You can fight I guess it's a spoiler if you haven't played it. You can also fight Sephiroth as a secret boss, and he's tough enough though. He's not as tough as he is in the first game. And then there's also more like other secret bosses. There's like some super boss that's apparently really tough in the PS4 Kingdom Hearts 2, because the PS4 Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically is this like final mix version that never actually made it over to the West originally. So it's a pretty it's easily the best way of experiencing the game. It's also on Game Pass. If you have an Xbox, you can play the entire series via Game Pass, which is actually pretty sick. And I really hope they put the games on Steam, because I would definitely buy them. So fingers crossed for that. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite games this year. There's just it's just that combat, man. It just feels really good to play. It's a lot of fun. It can take a little time to get used to, but once you're kind of in there, you're in there. And I hear on Critical, this game, which is like the hardest difficulty, this game is like absolutely sick. So I might come back to it and play it on that eventually again. I already got 50 hours on it already. Probably gonna do another 50. Would not be surprised.
Awesome.
Yeah, really liked it.
I'd love to know what you think of like Kingdom Hearts 3, because here I like the combat. That is pretty fun as well.
Yeah, I know. Just to quickly mention it, I really want to play Kingdom Hearts 3. I have, I won't be going on to that immediately, because I have Kingdom Hearts like Birthplace Sleep and was it like Dream Drop Distance. There's like a few other kind of like spin-off games that I gotta play. They're not spin-offs, they're actually integral for the story, because of course, maybe Square Enix making sense as always. Final Fantasy, even though it's never the last one, but yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3 I do really want to play. It looks incredible. I like look at it and just kind of go, like, especially like say like I remember seeing like the Toy Story World, which looked like insanely fun. I really wanted to play that, and also like I the Pirates of the Caribbean World, which looks insane. I was like, Jesus Christ, that looks really good.
Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. It's so bizarre seeing it's so fucking weird seeing really realistic looking Jack Sparrow standing next to fucking Donald and Goofy. It looks so weird. It's such a bizarre game. I like that's all I can think of when I see like Kingdom Hearts. There is a Pirates of the Caribbean World in Kingdom Hearts 2. It's just as weird. It's even like the voice actor for Jack Sparrow is the guy who does Obi-Wan in like the fucking Star Wars Clone Wars show, and you can kind of tell like. James Arnold Taylor. Yeah, James Arnold Taylor. Yeah, you can hear his voice in there, like just I don't know, like or Ratchet as well. He's also Ratchet.
Oh yeah.
So
cool.
It's kind of bizarre. Like you kind of just the entire time when you play Kingdom Hearts, it's like. It's cool, but you can't help but go, man, how the fuck did this crossover even happen in the first place?
Yeah.
like Square Enix and Disney. It's just such a weird crossover, but it does work. It's kind of like Death Stranding in that it's just so bizarre and weird, but like it kind of works. I don't know, but I really love Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's all I gotta say about it. But moving on from that, Nathan, what did you think of Ghost of Tsushima?
Well, it's my game of the year.
Game of the year. Damn.
Game of the year. I love Japan. I fucking think Japan is a cool country. I want to go there.
It's not really.
It's not really. It's only in Persona 5.
I can't believe Ghost of Tsushima ripped over doing this fucking bit again. Like.
But like, they have really fascinating culture,
Yeah.
and so I was like obviously eagerly anticipating Ghost of Tsushima, and it did not disappoint me at all. It was fun. It was beautiful, a stunning looking game. I was shocked at like the storytelling, how much I liked these characters. Jin is we'll start with Jin. Jin is I suppose stoic.
Jin is a down on his luck samurai.
Yeah. Jin is like I suppose you're a typical kind of like guy who wants justice, wants to help everyone. Jin is a shonen anime protagonist, pretty much.
He's not like super interesting. He's not like the reason you kind of care for like the story or
but you do learn to appreciate him, though. I feel that.
The more you play the game, I suppose you kind of come to like him as a protagonist.
I did anyway. So where do I even go from there? I think it's a really wonderful experience. Solely because of just the way the game looks. Like, it's not the most visually impressive look. Like, it looks.
I suppose in terms of the character models, no, but the environments are very, very pretty.
I was gonna say it's not like the most visually impressive looking game in the world. Like, it's like the way everything comes together. Is fantastic. Like the use of color, especially in the game, is phenomenal. That's why I think it is like one of the best looking games of the year, and I think it can go like head to head with like The Last of Us Part 2.
The Last of Us Part 2.
Guys, there it is, bingo. I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 is a good looking game. What can I say?
You can't, yeah, of course.
Can't say that,
no, that game looks incredibly good. It was nice that I will say it was one thing, even though it's it's a shame it didn't really get it much more than that. Not that the game works. Again, I'm bringing it up, but it's not like it mattered like a ton. What'd you say?
No. The Game Awards don't matter.
Not really. It's sales and like I'd say the critical reviews that kind of say more. But even then, like Ghost I think that only got like an 82, 83. But from what I hear from people, it's definitely a bit better than that.
Yeah, Ghost was built differently.
It's built different. It has kind of a unique style, like.
But for Ghost, it's just like it's an open world action adventure game, and I know open world. I was like, too many of those. But like it generally does try to do something different in the way like you explore the world, which I really appreciate. Like you call the gusts of wind to like you call the gusts of wind to like direct you in to like whatever. Like your quest marker, or like a random event, or like a secret place, or whatever. It's and also you also have like the foxes and the birds also like direct you to places too, which is really cool. And the foxes are just fucking really cute in the game. Also the combat is really fun. Like it's not like a hard game per se. It's not like Sekiro. Like Sekiro is a hard video game or a challenging video game, but Ghost is not that hard. It just feels nice to play the game. Like the animations are really smooth, and
it really makes you feel like Jin Sakai.
You really feel like a samurai.
Yeah.
And like cutting down people, like you can cut down people in like 2 or 3 slices, which is really cool. But you also get cut down in like 2 or 3 slices as well. So you have to be careful. And again, like I think. The like stealth isn't the best in the game. It's okay, but like when it works, it's serviceable.
I hear it's more fun to just just fucking go for like be an honorable samurai. I hear that's the more fun thing to do. It's like I hear the stealth is just kind of like the stealth to me when I haven't played Tsushima yet. It's in my backlog. I'm kind of waiting to get. I'm kind of waiting to get a PS5, whatever the hell that is. Trying to get one of those is like pulling his teeth. Like it's just not fucking happening. Like, but I'm hoping that I'm hoping soon. But Tsushima is definitely like pretty high on my priority list of games to play. It looks.
I don't mind playing that game. Like 60 FPS would be fucking an experience. Like, it'd
Yeah,
be so fun.
it looks really good. Like, I've seen some 60 FPS gameplay. I was like, yeah, I kind of want to wait.
And also, just like, the game is like a really consumer friendly game. Like, they added like an entire multiplayer mode for free.
True.
That gets supported. Like,
Yeah, the
and like also,
Legends or something.
yeah, there's also no like no like microtransactions. There's like a ton of cosmetics that you have to like either find or craft or are given to you for like crash rewards. It's really fucking cool, really cool. And
yeah, I don't want to downplay obviously Sucker Punch's like that how nice that is, but man, that really shouldn't be a compliment. That the game doesn't have microtransactions. I don't have to pay for costumes like oh man, it's like I'm playing early to mid 2000s games again.
Yep, true. Yeah, it shouldn't be like the state of the industry in 2020. Like
exactly, but unfortunately, like that is rare. Like there's so many single player games that have like microtransactions. Like a recent one, exactly. A recent one I was going to mention was Immortals. That game has microtransactions, which is like why it's a single player game. Why does it need
Valhalla?
Yes, yeah, Valhalla. Does Legion have them? Probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I can't forget that game came out. But yeah, it shouldn't be a plus, but it unfortunately it often is because it's just so rare. It's so rare these days. The load times I know you said.
Being a fucking samurai. Oh yeah, really good. Yeah, for like a hard drive, like it's really good, really impressive. They actually had to like nerf the load times.
Too fast.
You know that because they were too fast. Yeah, which is crazy.
Well, it was like loading in. It wasn't like finished loading in the world yet.
I'm not sure, but I heard it like nerf it because I guess you wanted to read like the hints they had at the bottom, like left or whatever, or like on the middle of the screen.
Oh wow! It was like literally so fast at like loading the game proper that like you wouldn't even get time to read the hints.
Something like that, yeah.
That's crazy. Holy!
I imagine like how fast it is on PS5 then like.
That's actually incredibly. That's incredibly impressive. Fucking fair play to Sucker Punch on that one.
Just being a samurai is sick. Like it's fucking really cool. And like there's really like incredible vistas you see in the game, and like we were like fighting another samurai in like boss battles. Like the settings are often like just wow, like magnificent, like so stunning, and like the photo mode is like probably the most used photo mode I've ever used in a game. Like it's ridiculous. Like I must have taken like 250 plus screenshots of the game because how strong it is. It's fantastic.
That's actually that's impressive.
Like a couple of knocks for the game is I don't think the like facial animations are particularly good. They're kind of for me, they're kind of jarring at times.
I think they look alright from what I've seen, but like yeah, I assume it's on the same engine as Second Son.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Which that game looked really good for for like 2014. I remember that game was very impressive, but it's like they didn't really evolve the facial animations all that much.
Yeah. It's
like they're using the same kind of like engine or whatever to like they rendered them like in a similar style, so they do look a little dated already. Considering the game has only been out like 5 months. Like if you compare it to like The Last of Us Part 2, it's not even close. Like that game is.
Yeah.
I mean, though to be fair, at least Sucker Punch didn't have to, crunch.
Hospitalize their employees.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's like, come on, guys. So I give them credit there. Like I'm not even sure. Like sure, I'm saying that they have better facial animations, but a bit of a backhanded compliment to be honest. But it's not a huge deal.
One big thing I want to say about the game is it does tug at the heartstrings, which surprised me.
Yeah.
And the music is really good as well. It's fucking just a really, really well made video game. And I think it deserved Game of the Year. I knew it wasn't going to get Game of the Year in a year with The Last of Us Part 2.
TGAs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course.
But for me, it's my Game of the Year. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Like what I think.
All,
That's all that matters.
all I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm probably gonna bring up Game Awards again, but
Sure.
all I'm going to say again about them is that I don't mind Last of Us getting Game of the Year. I do mind the fact that it won Best Game Direction. A game winning Best Game, and I know maybe it's like for the technical parts, but I just don't think a game winning Best Game Direction should be, it shouldn't be awarded to a game where workers literally had to be hospitalized. They had to be crunched to ridiculous lengths. Like, of course, look, you're gonna make it, like, to make a game like Last of Us Part 2 or whatever, look, I'm sure there had to be, like, they'd have to put in a good amount of hours, of course, like, but I just
sacrifices have to be made,
But it's just like, I don't know, it sets a bad precedent. Like, I feel like it should have went to like Hades, or it should have went to like Half-Life Alyx or something where, I to be fair, we don't know how the development of, like, say, Alyx went, but it was probably much less. Well, I don't know how it went. But I assume
I'm going to assume because it's Valve and they have fuck off money and, like, they don't operate on, like, regular video game standards really. Exactly. They can do whatever the fuck they want. I'd gotta say they took their time with it, like.
And I'd also just say it didn't, like, Alyx would have deserved it just because, like, it like, I haven't played a whole lot of it. I really need. It's just too many games coming out this year.
Yeah.
I haven't played a ton of it. Like, I only played about an hour. But it this sense of scale, like, and the sense of, like, kind of like just the way it puts you in the world. It's unlike any other VR game I've played. Like, it was really, really impressive. I was like, this game really does immerse you in its world, and it really does make you feel like you're kind of in the shoes of Alyx, man. So, like, I know that's such a, like, cliche, cringy thing, but when you're playing a game in VR, you are pretty much, you are playing that character. Like, it is like you're in the shoes. It really does feel like you're in the shoes of them. So, and Alyx, like, went to, more than any other VR game I've played this year. It really did. It really was impressive. I know I'm going really off topic here. It's just I felt like that had to be addressed. Something I really wanted to talk about. But yeah, I would have rather it went to, like, Hades or Half-Life Alyx or Tsushima if that was nominated. I think it was.
I think it was.
For game direction. I don't remember what the other game was. I assume it was 5 nominees. Probably FF7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna assume FF7 probably.
I want to give some closing thoughts here on Ghost.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think people should go out and buy the game. If you haven't already. Stunning game.
Yeah.
Stunning game. I think well worth your time. It's not like the main quest isn't, like, that long, maybe about 15 hours long. There's a ton of side content there. And, like, the, like, side characters are really, like, flesh out quite well in their own missions. So I do recommend the game wholeheartedly. A really well made game, quality game by Sony again, which is, like, nothing new or, like, nothing surprising because they fucking kill it when it comes to, like, first parties. Honestly, they kill it every time. So yeah, that's Ghost of Tsushima. My gotti.
Damn. Wow.
Ken, what comes to mind when I say the word Nintendo?
Hatred, vitriol, anger, rage.
Yeah.
Speaking of rage, have you heard of this little game called Raid Shadow Legends?
I have, and this is today's sponsor, Raid Shadow. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I wish, man.
Yeah.
Money, but we're not there yet.
Well, I mean, it's literally the first episode. I'd be surprised if anybody's even watching this.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, Mom.
If you're watching this far, then props.
Yeah.
Props. But what was I gonna say? So yeah, Nintendo. Yeah, I got a little bone to pick with them. Got a couple little things to say. It's been a really bad year for Nintendo. I'm gonna be honest. And I would have said this even before, like, the whole, just that entire week of, or I guess, like, 2 weeks of them just being massive fucking dickheads. I would have said that beforehand, but that just kind of solidified it. I barely, like, as someone like who had been like who has been kind of like a big Nintendo fan for a long time. And look, I did of like kind of some of the big like AAA companies. Like I always thought they were maybe not like perfect or anything, like because they've always been bad with like copyright ID shit, and like say with like music and stuff like that, you're just can be annoying to deal with. But I know this year I was definitely a bit disappointed with the way they've been kind of dealing with a lot of that stuff, like the whole Melee situation. Yeah, I get it. It's an old game. Like, it's like, why do people still want to play this game like 19 years later or whatever? That's always the argument I see against it. Or either that, or it's like, oh, Ultimate's right there, just move on, But it doesn't even seem like with Ultimate they want to have a good like base for like tournaments and like like a platform. Like it just seems like Nintendo's just completely against the idea, which sucks for people that want to play Smash professionally. Like it's just like any other fighting game. Like I feel like it deserves to have that platform, both Melee and Ultimate. Like because they're different games. They're very different games. They feel very different to play. So yeah, that that entire situation with like them taking down that big house event and just literally taking down an entire Splatoon event just to silence people speaking out against it. Like that's poor form. That's really poor form. Like that does nothing for them except bad PR. I have no idea why they even did that. Or like taking down entire soundtracks of their games that they won't make available on anything. What do you want us to do? Like do they literally want us to like get a fucking N64 and play like, I don't know, what is it? Maybe like Mario 64 or whatever, and listen to the music that way, because it's like one of the only ways to find it, or like an old ass soundtrack from like the 90s. Like I just don't know why they won't put like the music on like Spotify or something.
I don't get Nintendo in 2020. I don't get what their beef what their beef is with the fucking fandom that they have. Like honestly,
exactly, yeah. They've been it's been just a really poor year for them in that regard. Like just
I wonder, is it like the old business heads in Japan, or is it the people in America that's like calling it nuts? I have no idea. Maybe it's a combination of both. Yeah, Doug Bowser is really living up to his name, man. Honestly, brilliant. Like,
I can't believe it's actually Bowser under there.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like, I know they were joking about that like last E3 or whatever, but maybe it really is Bowser. But
Reggie tried to warn us.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like, to be fair, we know like nothing about him. He's never made any like. Yeah. Ever since then, he's made like practically no public appearances, which is kind of crazy.
I think he's been on like a few like Nintendo Directs or something, but
yeah, like a little bit. But like he
doesn't ooze the charm that Reggie does. I don't feel like he loves video games like Reggie loves video games.
It's just I just don't feel like I've seen enough of the guy to really judge. Like I don't feel like it just doesn't seem like he has that same kind of like engagement with the community that Reggie had. I'm just not seeing him like appear as much, so it's kind of hard to gauge. And look, this year, to be fair, it could be just because of COVID. They haven't had a general direct since September 2019. Like it's been 14 months since 15 months since they had just a normal direct, which is pretty crazy. Like all they had this year was that little mini one back in like March or whatever. Which is, again, just pretty crazy. So, like that's another thing. Like even regardless of, I was saying regardless of all that other stuff, it's just been kind of a crap year in terms of like their releases. Like I just don't feel like they've, 2019 was a pretty good year for Nintendo, because at least there they had, you had like Fire Emblem Three Houses, you had Luigi's Mansion, you had Link's Awakening remake, you had Mario Maker 2, you had quite a few like big releases. Astral Chain, Dragon Quest 11, but this year, like, all they really had was Animal Crossing. Like, That was pretty much Xenoblade Chronicles, I guess, like the remake. I heard that was very good, but I still haven't played it. They had Paper Mario, which I hear is fine. Mario 3D All Stars. I'll talk about that in a sec. They had what else? They had Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and I hear the Hyrule Warriors game is pretty good. The Age of Calamity, but I don't know. I'm not like, man, gotta play that right now. I hear it's good, but I'm not like absolutely desperate to play it. No, I am hearing their 2021 is apparently going to be really good. I hear a lot of people saying that. We'll see. Like, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like, we'll see what happens next year. But I think Mario 3D All Stars kind of like, I feel like it just sums up the year. It's like lazy, poor excuse at a cash grab. Like the ports are fine. They're fine. But for €60, it's like they did the bare minimum. Like they did barely anything to like make it any sort of like celebration of like Mario's like 35th anniversary. It just felt very lazy and slapped together. Like they just put a ROM and 2 ISOs on a cartridge.
Is that down to like the year though, or just maybe their laziness?
I would put that down. I want to put it down to the year, but to be fair, 10 years ago, and I remember this because I actually got it. They put out for Mario's 25th anniversary. They put out a Wii disc of Super Mario All Stars on the SNES. Literally just like a little ROM. They put it on the Wii disc and they charged €30 for it. Cool. So
Yes, Nintendo.
I kind of, I don't know, like something that should cost like a tenner max.
Yeah.
They charge 30 for, which kind of makes me go, no, I feel like this was like a quick cash grab, because we've been hearing about this since like early this year. I feel like that Mario, remaster collection.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been hearing about it since for at least a year. Like, it's been ages. But the games are great. They're still really good. Like, I mean, I was playing Mario 64 with the Pro Controller, and while it takes, while I don't think it's like the best port in the world, it's even based on like a later version of Mario 64 where you can't do like all the crazy speedrun bullshit. Like, you can't BLJ, which is basically like, on like the stairs where like you backwards long jump, and then you can like you can literally like zoom up them, like you can like get to like Bowser, the final Bowser boss, like really fast with that.
Right, yeah.
It like that, and it's from like a later version where that was like patched out, which is a shame, because of course Nintendo's like, no, we don't like fun on our games. So also I didn't really care for Animal Crossing, but then again, I just don't really think that series is my thing. I understand like the kind of the impact it made, and I understand why people like it, but it's just not for me. And I can enjoy sim games like kind of like life simulation kind of stuff. Like I can enjoy maybe like Harvest Moon, or I remember really liking Viva Pinata back in the day, but I couldn't really get into Animal Crossing all that much. But I understand that was a really important game for a lot of people this year. So
yeah,
because
it came on at the right time.
Exactly, it came at a really good time. So that's probably the one of the biggest bright spots Nintendo had this year. But I would say it was probably one of the only really good things they had in.
Sold gangbusters though. They sold fucking gangbusters. Like,
it's probably going to be the best-selling game on Switch, which is crazy. I didn't think anything could pass Mario Kart 8 because that game did insanely well.
Yeah.
Like I every time I look at like the charts, I kept going, man, Mario Kart's still selling like hotcakes. Can't believe it. But Animal Crossing is like apparently like right behind it, which is like, Jesus Christ, that game's only been out like 9 months. It's insane. It might have surpassed it. I have actually no idea.
I'll check there right now.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Live on air. As of September 30th, it has sold 14.27 million units.
14.2.
Yeah.
I thought it was higher than that. Could have felt
14.
like it was higher. I thought it was easily in like the 20 million range. I could be wrong though.
I could probably look at the wrong stats.
Yeah, I can't remember when.
Oh, sorry, it's 26.4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. It's like just behind Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely ludicrous. I imagine Mario All Stars was a big game as well. I remember that was like topping charts like crazy when it came out.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is 28.99 million.
Animal Crossing's catching up though.
Yeah.
You could very easily catch it.
For like Christmas, like you might just fucking
pass it. Yeah. Animal Crossing, I've seen cheaper usually as well. Like I've seen that game be for like you can get it for like 35 quid or so. Whereas Mario Kart's just held its price. It just does not drop like.
The Switch has been an excellent business choice for Nintendo, honestly.
Yeah, after the Wii U, I look at the Wii U as like it was like a prototype almost because of like the way they had like the tablet home console thing. Because I remember people were thinking, oh, can you bring the tablet around with you like a portable device? Which I was kind of hoping, that would actually be a really cool idea. Unfortunately, you couldn't, but now they've kind of realized that idea. But for me, at the moment, I feel like the Switch, while I do think it's a great console in terms of like a lot of the games on it, and like there's a lot of really great games on it. But it's like a really great first concept, and if they can just build on it, then then I'm sure like that a second Switch could be legitimately like fantastic, like really really good. I'm not quite there with the Switch yet. I wouldn't say it's my favorite Nintendo console personally, but it's certainly a really great console. I just don't feel they've had a year quite like 2017 since the Switch drop. I felt like that was a really magical year for Nintendo, like just a really great year. I don't think they've had one that's matched us since. 2018 you had Smash Ultimate, which was great, but not really much else. And 2019 was good, but not amazing. And was not a good year for Nintendo. So hopefully, 2020 was not a good year. So hopefully next year we get there'll be some good. They'll get a lot of that goodwill back, and they'll be able to improve upon their mistakes and rectify things. But I don't know, like in terms of like the community side of things, I really hope they can mend things. Like I hope they won't do more anti-consumerist, like anti-fan engagement fucking bullshit where they like, I don't know, cancel just say all Smash tournaments are banned now, no more Smash esports or something.
Yeah.
Like I hope not, like, or just take down more, or like go after people that use Nintendo music and videos or something. I don't know. Just I hope. I really just want them to stop being such old men, Yeah.
Move on with the times now.
Exactly. That's just what it feels like. Not to, I don't want to be like, haha, boomers in Nintendo, like, but.
Like, it's what it feels like, though.
It's what it feels like, yeah, definitely. People in their 60s, 70s just, like, deciding, I don't really like that. Like, the etiquette thing, I forgot to mention that. The Eticons, little, rest in peace to the guy. But the little controller shell things that they made for him that, they're not even real Joy-Cons, they're just shells, and Nintendo is still like,
they were going to charity as well.
It's that was really like, come on.
Lame,
just so lame, so scummy and lame.
So out of touch, I think.
I just didn't appreciate that. So, it's a crappy situation, but hopefully things get better next year for them. Just better in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of all they have to say. Like, I just feel, don't feel like this was a great year to be a Nintendo fan. I'll just say that much. Especially towards the second half. So, Super Nintendo World looks pretty cool though. Don't know if I go there, but like, anytime soon. Like, like maybe when things open back up. But that was a cool little direct that they had to, show up.
It was. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and just one last thing to mention in terms of Smash, I did I do feel like the new additions are pretty cool. All three characters have been playing Fighter Pass 2, and yeah, I've enjoyed all three characters. I didn't really think I'd like Min Min, to be honest, but I was actually having fun playing as her. I thought she was a pretty fun character, just with like the springy arms and stuff. Yeah, she's got some fun reach and just cool like grabs and moves and stuff. And obviously Steve is, just a fun like gimmick character. And Sephiroth's pretty sick. So really,
is he?
Yeah, he's pretty sick.
He looks insanely fun.
Yeah, he's legitimately really fun to play. He kind of made Fighter Pass 2 worth getting, I think. And the challenge to unlock him, well, I know some people have cheesed it in like 4 seconds. I didn't do that. I just was like, I'm just gonna use Little Mac, see how I do. It took me, maybe like 35 minutes, but it felt really good to unlock him. It was a very, very satisfying challenge. So maybe that's also just because I'm bad at Smash or something, but it was fun to do. But yeah, that's pretty much it with Nintendo. Not a great 2020, but I hope next year's better.
Nintendo, lads, Nintendo.
Nintendo, they do be vibing.
And our last topic.
Last kind of big game that we're.
Big game.
Yeah, and this one. Yeah, it's a bit of a little bit, definitely a big enough game. Controversial. But Nathan, so what did you think of Cyberpunk 2077?
Before I talk about the game, I want to talk about CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, and I assume some of the controversies are.
I think their lack of respect for their console fans, because that game came out in a state that is beyond unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
And as of recording, the game got pulled from the PlayStation Store, which is frankly like almost unheard of for like a AAA game. It's ridiculous. Like it's honestly, insane. That should really say all about the state of the game. Like, it's like an absolute mess. They never showed off like base PS4 or base Xbox One gameplay of that game in the past like 3 years that the game's been kind of like resurfaced, I suppose. Since like 2018, when that new trailer dropped.
Since they kind of re-announced it.
Yeah, I mean that's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. The state it launched is, even on PC, the buggy mess it was at launch, and still is. Like it's only like been over a week since launch, and it still is like buggy mess. There's not one, I suppose, hour that goes by in that game where you don't experience some like weird graphical glitch. Some weird, like yesterday I was playing the game and I was walking down the street and a car just spawned from the sky and crash landed in front of me. Like what? I was playing a pivotal story mission today, and V's hair disappeared and V was completely bald. In a crucial emotional scene in the game, V's hair was gone, and it just took me right out of the experience. It's simply, it's unacceptable. It's not on. Like the whole tagline of the game is coming when it's ready. Well, it's not fucking ready. Like, another 6 months needed for that game. There's missing features too. Like the police in the game are an absolute joke. If you do a crime, you get like 1 or 2 stars. The police just spawn behind you, straight away. Spawn behind you out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And if you run away, take about 12 seconds to lose them. There's no threat there. Honestly, it's like Grand Theft Auto 3 had better police. The Cyberpunk 2077. Like, it's insane disappointing. Like, because look, the game wasn't going to be the game to fucking end all video games. Like, honestly, it was hyped up so much, and like hype is never really that. Hype is not a good thing. Honestly, it's not a good thing at all.
No.
And like the game the game was not going to be like the best role-playing game ever, the best rated game ever, have the best graphics ever, be the most polished, smooth-running game ever, have the most things to do of any game ever. Like, it wasn't going to be that, like, because at the end of the day, CD Projekt Red have half the staff of a fucking Ubisoft or of like a Rockstar or like of a Naughty Dog. You don't have that level of staff. But that said, for what the game is, if you take away the bugs, which is really hard to do because there's so many and they're so constant, the game is incredible. It's an incredible game, like. So absolutely incredible.
I think it's like once, I don't know, maybe it was like, I want to blame the executive people. I know it's always like the same thing. It's like, oh, blame the execs. I do the same with like Nintendo and that, but it's just like, it feels like, I wonder that they just buckle under the hype and just said, yeah, just fuck it, just put it out, even if it's not ready, just put it out. You can finish the game, so technically it's done.
I think shareholder pressure was the big thing.
Exactly.
And
because their stocks were dropping as well. I think even before.
I think a big mistake was saying being delayed from September to November. It should have been delayed from September to December and have no November in the middle to like break it up.
They never should have delayed it to November. If they weren't sure, they should have just said.
Yeah, they should have said September, December, and then obviously the game needed more time.
Yeah.
And then maybe delay it in December to maybe like March, April.
Then again, I say like, I'm saying that like they should have delayed it if they were sure. I mean, you even saw like on Twitter, someone was like, "Oh, hey, can I reschedule my fucking, the way with people like taking time off to play the game."
Taking off time, work, yeah.
Which, I mean. Some people would be like, oh, well, don't take time off work to play a video game. But, like, yeah, okay, but that shouldn't be on, like, if CD Projekt Red are literally telling you, like if someone, on the Cyberpunk Twitter is literally telling you, like, because I saw that, like, they were literally saying, yeah, it's coming out, like, you don't have to worry, it will be out in November.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then it's like, oh, sorry, it's actually delayed to December. It's like, really?
Our bad. Sorry, guys. They've lost a lot of people.
I don't blame that person because look, they didn't. I don't think they knew. I feel like they weren't in the loop. They had just assumed that the game was coming on November as intended, because that was like a day before they announced the delay, I think. And I assume a lot of people, even in CD Projekt Red, were not in the know that the delay was coming. So they shouldn't have done. And look, with that November delay. I think what they shouldn't have delayed it to December. Just fucking delay it to next year.
Yeah.
Just do that. Like, look, people have waited long enough. They can wait longer. I know.
It should have been delayed to next year, and cancel the last gen ports of the game.
Well, I agree, but I don't think they'd do that.
No, they wouldn't do it, of course. But that's the best thing to do because, they obviously want that install base.
It's the shareholder. The shareholders want that. They want that PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like that PlayStation 4, Xbox One install base, PlayStation 4, Xbox One install base. It's juicy. Like it's like they look at that and they go, man, that's where the fucking money is. Like
Yeah. And of course, shareholders probably aren't gamers. Of course. They don't give a fuck about the game. They want the profit. Like
they want the product out so that they can reap the rewards.
The game sold fucking crazy. I think it was a high-selling piece of game of all time.
Even though
on launch,
it's crazy because even though that is the case, like their stocks are fucking plummeting. Like,
they've lost $1 billion.
Yeah, like are they losing money on the game? Like, are they making back what they?
Oh, no, they obviously made back their money. I think twofold.
Okay, but it's just but they are also losing a lot. Like
their stocks they've lost their stocks.
Like
but
they've had to take a bit of a hit to make that profit. Like,
and we shouldn't let this go unsaid. The crunch,
unacceptable. Yeah,
unacceptable. Probably Naughty Dog level of crunch. It's unacceptable.
Well, were people being hospitalized from Cyberpunk?
I mean, I probably got a lot of stress. I don't know. I haven't heard of any hospitalizations. There could have been.
For me, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back with Last of Us.
Yeah.
I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, that is not on. Like, and that's why it pisses me off when I see fucking Neil Druckmann getting that game direction award. It's like, you fucking asshole. Like, taking all the credit as well. But like, I'm just wondering with Cyberpunk, like, is it that same kind of situation? You know?
I mean, it was pretty bad. Like, I saw constant stories from like Jason Schreier saying unacceptable levels of crunch at CD Projekt Red.
I get it's a big game. Like, look, you're gonna have to like it was never going to be it was never going to be easy to make. Like, nobody said that it was going to be an easy road to get to release. Like, it's a like, and I see a lot of people saying, like, it was the same with, like, say, Red Dead 2, for example. Like, that had apparently quite a lot of crunch, and, like, it's like, is a video game really worth all of that stress and all of that crunch? And it's like, like, the rewards are probably, they could be good, but then again, are they going to the right people? Like, is it just all the fucking shareholders getting all the money?
I was gonna say, like, someone playing their game and be like, "This is really good," is I assume it's like rewarding in a sense of, like, yeah, they like what I've made, but
I made a good product.
It doesn't, I suppose, bring in any, like, extra, like,
revenue,
money. Yeah, it's like
that doesn't put food on the table.
Well done. That's not going to pay the bills. Like,
exactly. Like fucking.
I think that's
IGN giving The Last of Us, like, fucking, or Cyberpunk or whatever, like, they're giving them, like, really high scores. That's cool, but that's not going to put any money or on the table for employees. Like, and that's not, like, disrespecting to fucking IGN or whatever, but, like, it's just that
fuck IGN.
It's just that it doesn't, like, the reviews are great or whatever, but, like, it's the money that counts. Like, that's what matters. You need that to keep going. Like, I know some people are, there might be some CD Projekt Red and, like, heads that might be like, oh, they really enjoy it, and they like doing this work, and they're fine with it, and they're doing what they love, and it's like, okay, but are they well paid? Are they well, are they healthy? Are they, are they doing, like, are they even able to function normally? Like, is it some, like what kind of hours are they pulling? Like, they are crunching.
Has to be like a unionization of, like, of game devs sooner rather than later, because this cannot keep happening. Like,
it's becoming way more common as of late. Like,
but
it's like almost every, like, really, really big game that comes out, like, almost every really big game, we're hearing reports of crunch. Like, I can't think of, like, what's, like, the biggest game that came out recently that, like, I wasn't hearing about crunch. Like, I'm trying to think, like, I guess maybe, like, FF7, but I don't know if, like, I feel like in Japan, like, maybe that's just more accepted, crunch. Cause, like,
they have a culture of, like, you have to be the best worker.
Crunch culture, yeah.
But I do want to talk about the game, not just the controversy.
We've been talking about this for a long time, but I'll probably, like, label this the Cyberpunk controversy before you go on to the game.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's a fucking insanely good game. Honestly, it's a really good game. After I passed the game today, the main quest, I put about 60 hours into it, and at the start I wasn't like, it was pretty good. Like, it's not the best thing ever, but doing all the, like, side quests and, like, getting to know these characters and, like, unlocking more guns and more gear, and, like, the main quest is really, really good. I really love the main quest. It is really, really good. Keanu Reeves is there. Jedi Silverhand.
He's likable, I'd imagine, like, in the sense where, like, it's Keanu
likable,
Reeves.
Yeah.
You
Keanu Reeves, of course, is likable, but Keanu Reeves is not going to win any Oscars anytime soon. I'll tell you that for a fact.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't feel like in any movie I've watched I'd be like, man, Keanu Reeves, what an actor. He's good at action. He's good at, like, kind of not being, like, he generally plays characters that aren't, like, super emotive. Like, they're not meant to be, like, super kind of over the top, I guess. But Whereas Johnny Silverhand is kind of like, that scene's against type for him, you know, that kind of character.
Yeah. Being Keanu Reeves, Johnny is like instantly likable. So like you're like, oh cool, it's Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick.
Exactly. That's why you kind of you see Keanu Reeves and you go, yeah, I like Keanu Reeves. You know.
I played as a female V because from like the promos, I did not vibe with like male V's voice actor at all. I think male V's kind of poopy. I think female V sounds a lot better. So I picked female V and I found her
more interesting.
I found her just she sounded just cooler, like you know, like a cyberpunk should sound cool. Like she did sound cool, and she had like the right amount of attitude when it was needed, and like the right amount of, I suppose, empathy when it was needed.
Yeah.
She had a lot of range, I suppose. Was what I wanted to say.
Do you find that from what you heard of the male V, do you think he kind of sounds a little dry, like he kind of lacks?
Cheesy.
Cheesy.
It's cheesy.
Okay,
it's word cheesy. Yeah. Like gruff guy, all this, whatever.
Is it the guy? Does he have the? Is it the voice of the guy from like the CG trailers? Is it just that, like?
Yeah.
You know that kind of the I don't know, the one they use the one they've used in all like the marketing, like, is that kind of like
he's Irish, yeah. He's Irish guy, you know that.
Is he?
He's Irish, yeah.
Gavin
Drea?
Really? I actually didn't know that.
Yeah, he's Irish.
That's interesting.
You couldn't tell because to be fair, his accent's pretty good.
Like, what, does he hide his accent, like, kind of?
Well, he sounds just like an American dude, like.
Yeah.
Can't tell. But going on from like V, I think V. Well, I think V actually is a pretty cool character. You can obviously make her whatever you want. I think people are going to kind of be like, oh, she's not Geralt though. She's fair because like you have 3 games with Geralt, and Geralt is so expertly written in the Witcher 3
that
I think people are going to have. Exactly, yeah. I think people are going to have a hard time to like separate, like, oh, but like I wish she was more like Geralt or whatever. But no, V is her own character. She's not like wholly like a blank slate. Like she has sort of things defined about her already, like, you know.
Yeah, that they make VV basically.
Yeah, like she's like a canvas that's half painted. You have to kind of finish her off for like, you know, her backstory and like whatever shit she says, shit like that. The gameplay is fun, kind of janky at times, but the shooting is good, I'd say. But I really like the melee combat more. I play it as a fucking corpo, katana wielding hacker. It was really fun.
Hacker,
yeah. You kind of get the same guns over and over again though.
Oh,
kind of like Borderlands, and like they're kind of like shit, so you don't get like a lot of great loot all the time, which is kind of a downside. But I guess whatever. Like, I suppose you're not meant to get like the best loot every single time. Like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we were constantly getting better and better gear, which kind of made like your cool gear kind of feel like, oh wow, this is kind of pointless now.
I hear the RPG elements in Cyberpunk are kind of not fantastic. Like they're like almost not very existent. Like they don't.
Yeah, it's not. It seems like, oh, plus 10% stat boost to this. It's not like widely different. Like,
that's pretty boring.
I mean, sure. I mean, you could make different characters, but like, you're not going to notice any differences like straight away. It's like a couple levels to like really see like different builds, I suppose, shine.
Yeah. Fair.
So I like to say that like the RPG elements aren't like great. I don't think it's true. Like, I'm like level 30 character now, and I can say that like my female V is like, she needs to use blades because I've tailored her to use like blades. So if she uses like shotguns, she's not that great at shotguns because she's like made to be a fucking katana wielding ninja bitch, and she is, you know. The driving is kind of clunky. It's like clunky for not the right word. It's kind of like floaty, and like the car's back seems to always like kind of spin out when you turn the corner. Shit like that. I never really used the like crafting system other than to like craft medkits I never crafted guns. I never upgraded guns really. Just didn't bother. I don't think you're not really like incentivized to like, yeah, V, craft this gun for me, pal. Shit like that.
Buddy, old pal.
I kind of find it weird that there's no like character customization in the game. You can't. It's really weird. Like you can't like add more earrings or like
there's no
change V's hairstyle.
Yeah.
No. Once you make V at the start of the game, that is V the entire game. You cannot change how she looks.
Weird.
Which is weird because you could give Geralt a different beard and a different hairstyle in The Witcher 3, which is a really weird omission, I think.
Is it because of the person, do you think, maybe?
I don't think so, because like you do get to see V like a good bit, not like a ton. Like obviously you see her in like menus and stuff like that. You see her in mirrors, and like the odd time you might see her in like a reflection or whatever. But yeah. Other than that, like it's purely like first person. But you should still be able to like customize your V, like
it's bizarre.
After it's bizarre. The game's strongest points is its writing, and the city is I think the fucking best city ever created in a game. It is stunning. Night City is stunning. Like there's an insane sense of scale that like no game I think can match. It makes like Los Santos in a GTA 5 feel like a fucking empty playground. Like it's nothing there compared to like Night City.
More impressive.
That said, I feel like the city is lifeless at times. Like because of the bugs, NPCs are doing stupid things. Do you know, like the fucking AI is just dumb. Whereas like Red Dead Redemption 2, the AI is always doing something. You know, they're something believable.
But something you think they do.
Yeah, but in Cyberpunk it's just like they're walking into a wall, or like there's a stoplight and they're walking at a red light. You know what I mean?
Is it glitch related stuff or?
Yeah, it's just dumb AI stuff.
Yeah, dumb AI.
Stupid AI.
It's a shame.
It's a shame, but again, like I couldn't stop playing the game because I felt like the writing was so good and the quests were so interesting and the characters were so good, and I was really invested in V's story, and like there's a lot of content there, and like you're constantly getting like new quests, like be it they might be the best quest ever, but it's still stuff to do, like.
Yeah.
And just exploring Night City was an absolute treat, and like I want to play the game again. I'm going to play the game again.
Especially considering how long it is. Like, I mean, I know it's not as long as maybe like Witcher, but it's still
I think
a pretty meaty game. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I think 15-20 hours probably for the main quest.
The main
not
quest,
that long.
yeah. But like
not that long.
But you have a big, like a good meaty amount of side content, as far as I know. Like, I mean, I haven't.
I didn't do all side quests at all. Like, there's still way more to do.
Are you going to do them on the same file? Do you think, or are you gonna like?
I think I might
start.
I'm not sure. I might just do the content with like my same file, and then do a different ending, and then start again with like male V.
Yeah, to give a different, slightly different experience, maybe.
But again, like I think the game is going to be as good as The Witcher 3
when it's done.
When it's done. The game didn't disappoint me.
Yeah.
I think CD Projekt Red disappointed me.
Exactly. It's funny that we say when it's done when they literally say when it's
exactly.
done. But unfortunately, that's how it be sometimes.
But I fucking love Cyberpunk. I think it's a really, really good game. I think it deserves your money when the game is done, like you said.
Once the game is done, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to hear the game is at least that the game itself maybe didn't live up exactly to the ridiculous expectations.
No, of course not.
But I'm glad.
I will say one quick thing. The music in the game is phenomenal. It is unreal. I adore the music.
Is it licensed or is it like actually like?
No, the original music is class in the game.
Oh,
it is class.
That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
I love a good original OST in a game.
It's just and also like if you love Blade Runner, you're going to love the game. It has really cool like Blade Runner moments where it's like pissing down rain, and it's just like neon lights everywhere, and you feel like you're in this fucking amazing place. It's just unreal. Like
you're eating like a bowl of noodles or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Like
bowl of ramen. That's cool.
That is Cyberpunk 2077 rather.
Yeah. I'm glad you at least enjoyed it, even if in spite of the issues. Like I'm glad that you liked it, and it is a shame, like how much of a debacle the release has been, like how messy it's been, because it obviously had potential to go just way better, way smoother. Like it very easily
like people are not going to forget. People are not going to forget this launch. No way.
Yeah, for a lot of people, it could make like disappointing games of the year lists.
Yeah.
I could definitely see it because it just launched in such a horrendous state, like
Yeah.
Obviously, the PC version isn't as bad, but it's still, and even like the next gen console versions, they're not good. Well, next gen console versions is in playing the PS4 and Xbox One games on next gen hardware. I hear is like not as bad, but still, it's disappointing to hear. I'm looking forward to playing the game myself, but I don't know when I'm getting around to it. There's too many games to play right now, but I might get to that soon. To be fair, because I'm curious how it finally turned out after so many years of waiting.
Hey man, I think go in expecting bugs.
Temper your expectations. I was actually going to ask, like, what kind of what kind of were your expectations when you went in, like, when you decided to play the game?
I wanted a game. I wanted a game as well written as Witcher 3.
Of course.
And that has competent gameplay, and I would have been happy. And I got that and more. So I am satisfied.
I'm glad to hear it, man. Yeah, you were incredibly excited for it, so
I was, but I wasn't like, oh my god, it's the best game ever! Oh my god! Yeah, of course. I had to lower my expectations like fucking ages ago because it wasn't. Because at the end of the day, it's a video game made by people. It's not going to be perfect. Like
it just the perfect game doesn't exist.
It never will.
Yeah.
So.
There are games that might be perfect for some people, but but a game without flaws, there's no such thing. And when you're making a game on the scale of Cyberpunk, like it's going to be hard not to have issues going in. So
of course,
we'll have to. I don't know. Hopefully by, say, like the same time next year, things will be looking a lot brighter for the game in general.
Oh yeah, surely, yeah. Like we'll have like a lot more patches, and probably like the first like DLC expansion is going to be out.
Or at least on the horizon. Like I could see I could definitely. I would say that might even be like a 2022 thing, because if they're going to be on the same scale as like maybe Witcher's. Cyberpunk.
I don't think it'll take that long. No, so.
Really?
Take a long. Yeah, no.
Okay, we'll see. So by next year,
maybe the multiplayer will, because that's still a thing. Remember? Good luck.
Is that like a separate game, pretty much?
I think so. Yeah, but like,
bizarre.
It's probably going to be free if you want Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully that's good. It's just, can you see a multiplayer game though after playing Cyberpunk?
I don't know why. I mean, like maybe like a GT Online sort of thing would be pretty cool.
I guess that might be what they're going.
I don't need one though. I don't need one though. That's the only thing. Like.
But I mean, maybe shareholders want one.
I mean, yeah, they saw how much like money GTA Online brings in.
I'm gonna assume that's it. Like, but will it be GTA Online, or will it go the way of? Will it kind of be more
Red Dead Online?
Red Dead,
maybe.
Which isn't, that's not really I don't feel like that.
Well, like,
it doesn't bring in the money as much. You know, I'd imagine.
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
But yeah, gotta wait how things play out. But yeah, did you have your closing?
That is Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk. Just to round
Great game. Great game. If you're gonna buy it now, expect some pain. And I think the best thing is maybe wait till January until like the first like big patches out and play it then. But the game 100% deserves your attention and your time because it is an unforgettable experience at times. Honestly,
Glad to hear it.
if you like The Witcher 3, like from a writing perspective, you're gonna like Cyberpunk. So yeah, that's it.
And that just about wraps it up for all the games that we kind of have like a lot to say about in this podcast. Like there are definitely other games that both me and Nate would like to talk about that we played this year, but we felt like this was a pretty good list of 12 games that we had a lot to say about this year. 11 games in a company, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's hopefully next time if we can do another one, we'll be talking about some more games that we played and just other things that we had thoughts on. Just other games we might have played in the year and just go on about that for a bit. It's.
We might give some updated thoughts as well to some of the games on the list that we have today.
Yeah, like that's Stranding. I remember you said
Stranding,
have to finish off. So, and, I have some things that I might play. Like I was thinking of maybe playing Alex, Half-Life Alex finally, or maybe I might play like Immortals, and I could give some thoughts on that. I've actually not got around to playing. Shockingly, I'd say a lot of people would crucify me for this. I've not really gotten around to playing Breath of the Wild, so I could go around. What
the fuck?
Exactly. I could go into that game as someone who kind of doesn't. Who might not see it as like a clone of that game. So, even though there are very obvious inspirations, but
obviously
that's something that that's something I could talk about next time. We'll see. We'll see how things go. So that about wraps it up, really.
Thank you for listening, and hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time.
See you around.